Welcome back to the Nicolas Cage Podcast. I'm your host, Austin, with...
I'm Tarell, here again.
And this is a podcast where we talk about Nic Cage films because we love him and he deserves more love. This week we watched Raising Arizona, which I should have done a little bit of research when I was going into this.
Really?
I did nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was just like, oh, he has a kid. That was my whole thought process of going into this because I didn't do any research.
I saw the poster and thought it was he's almost like a country bumpkin, kind of like raising a kid and doesn't really know what he's doing.
I thought it was going to be like his sister comes by, he's like, oh, I'm going to jail, here's my kid. And then that's what I kind of thought it was because he looked like trailer trash kind of thing. But, and first off, it was a Coen Brothers movie. Did not know that. I remember watching it, I'd been like, oh, is that John Goodman? That's John Goodman. And I was like, oh, is that, what's her name, Holly Hunt?
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there. I was like, she looked really familiar. And I was like, oh, she was Brother Barthow. So it was John Goodman. I was like, oh, that's right. It's a fucking Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, John Goodman would give it away for me. To me, anytime you see John Goodman in a comedy, this is a Coen Brothers movie. I forget, for someone that's kind of a fan, I'm not saying a big, I hate to be fan of it, but I enjoy their work, right?
Yeah.
Anytime if I'm watching a movie that's kind of oddbeat, comedy or anything, I'm like, wait a minute, John Goodman, I look it up and I'm like, oh, it's got to be a Coen Brothers film. I
didn't realize it was Coen Brothers until the end credits, and I was like,
really?
Coen. I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the film, being like, the whole vibe of this film, it felt very familiar and friendly.
Yeah.
It felt almost like, I don't want to say, it was comical and a little bit cartoony. There was definitely some spots in a very kind of Looney Tunes, like when Glenn suggests swinging and he punches him, and then all of a sudden Glenn's 15 feet away, and he's slowing. He's don't talk about my wife like that.
I fucking love Glenn. Glenn's my favorite psycher of the whole movie.
Yeah,
just for being in the back shit crazy. What the fuck is deal with?
When he brought up, he said the Polak, and I was like, I'm not sure. I have some Polish heritage. I'm pretty sure you can't say that.
Yeah, it's a derogatory term.
Yeah, I was like, ugh. But then again, it's 87. I think he even said the N-word at one point.
Glenn said Negro. No, I too. Yeah, I was half asleep when I watched too.
He's like, even the Negro 5 years to get a good white child.
Yeah, give me a good white baby. I can get a Negro boy with a hardness outside though. Yeah. Whatever, a hard.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
For some reason it seemed less racist. He said the heart in the outside. Really, a Negro boy playing. He just said, no, he's a heart in the outside. That's too much. You know what I mean? So maybe he could almost I wanted to believe that he considered getting a black baby, but the heart in the outside is too much.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a lot for anybody.
Yeah, a lot of people bear witness, but it reminded me a lot of a Wes Anderson kind of film.
Yeah,
I was heavily inspired by it.
Yeah,
not heavily inspired, but you know what I mean. I think I don't know Wes, but I think this movie would be if I didn't know I would have guessed Wes Anderson directed this.
Yeah, especially the color scheme kind of reminded me of Wes Anderson.
And the setup.
Wes Anderson is very it's colorful, but also sepia tone in a weird way. And
then intense, and mezzanine. Some of the scenes with the. Even the Arizonas, remember when you first see them, remember how it was picture, it almost felt like a painting. Remember the first, they're sitting in they're both the chairs are kind of facing each other.
I took notes on that.
That was that's so Wes Anderson style, mezzanine,
yes, perfectly even, perfect, rule of threes. And it was just so good. Oh yeah, so for this, I want to try to just keep it a little bit shorter because I haven't gotten some complaints about length. I understand 3 hours is pretty long. But my friends saw the timestamp, we're not going to listen. I was like, hey, come on, at least try. Mark gave it a shot. Mark at least listened to enough to give a little commentary, or at least a little criticism on our techniques, which he says we're doing great, by the way.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, Mark.
But Luke and John, you could have at least fucking tried. They did.
I feel it's me. I've always been made to. I mean, because a lot of times, if I did the correct way, not the correct way, but also the time thing is usually when you do, obviously, longer ones, you cut down, you actually listen through it, edit it down. Kind of I do my own little weird YouTube thing, whereas usually about half hour, I cut it down to about 9 minutes, because I just...
We don't usually leave a lot of dead air, though. We're usually, keeping, a pretty steady pace.
It's good with two people. It's good with two. Myself, I'm just and I go on a weird... I'll usually go on a weird tangent. I'm oh, yeah, and I really like the fact that his jacket was really red, and I like red jackets, and red is, cool, and Michael Jackson wore a red jacket. Anywho, back to the blah, I'm like, wait a minute, did they really care about the tangent about, Michael Jackson's jacket?
Yeah.
And I didn't add anything to it, so I used to do it off of me thinking, but yeah, I mean, concise is cool. It makes less time for editing, which more turn on for, more podcasts.
I even went back to a few movie podcasts I listened to or used to listen to, and they usually keep it around an hour and a half, which is a good timestamp. If they're 2 hours, it's a nice little extra. If they're an hour, it's that's fine. But 3 hours is pretty tough.
Yeah, it's intense.
I've actually been listening to have you ever heard of the podcast Till Death Do Us Blart?
I've heard about it, but I haven't listened to it. They rewatch the Paul. Yeah, I think I heard about Paul Blart every year.
Every Thanksgiving they rewatch it.
It's fucking intense.
And they literally have it set up. It's like till the end of time. It's like they have named their successors to take over when they die or if they die.
Oh my gosh!
Unexpectedly.
And when I heard of it, it kind of works because the fact that like every time you do rewatch stuff like on shows, you find new shit. You look at it differently depending on what your life's going on.
The third time, they all loved it. Like, this is amazing. The fourth time, they're like, we started it up and we just didn't want to watch it.
Oh gosh!
Like, I hate this film, guys. It's great because each time, again, they go into something different. And like by the fourth time, like we bought the Blu-ray and we're watching the deleted scenes, and they're like doing like the like, you know, conspiracy wall, like connecting the dots, and like this deleted scene was here. That's why this line didn't make any sense because like, this deleted scene, which connected that deleted scene earlier. And then one of the guys he watched it to the Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Really?
He said it fit eerily perfectly.
Oh,
like
shit.
He said it was like perfect.
Holy
even when like because they had to play twice to like fit the whole film. He said even then it was perfect.
Really?
It was like to the dot of like someone hit something 3 times and it matched like 3 drum beats and I was like, there needs to be a podcast out there where they're like, we're gonna watch Jurassic Park 3.
Oh my gosh.
To Dark Side of the Moon. And
so maybe this one knows something to it. Remember, it's famously, it's like you watched the first Indiana Jones movie, like the soundtrack to like Facebook, it's like collides or something like the opening music or some shit.
For what?
The theme music for Facebook, the movie. You know the Trent Reznor soundtrack.
Oh,
it kind of it lines up with like the opening scene of like Indiana Jones, whatever. Someone like cut it in there too. It's weird how it was like, but the whole movie would be weird. But I remember how like people like cut it to it and like it like works with it. Cause you know the beloved like opening. Yeah. I think I use it too. I use it for my movies too. Just like I use a temp music when I was like editing because it just fit so well with kind of what I was doing. But
I would love to see a film that is the entirety of it is to the beat or the pacing of like a soundtrack like that.
Kind of like what's the movie that Edgar Wright did? The kid with the tinnitus.
No,
Baby Driver.
Oh right.
Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah. Kind of like that, but maybe a bit more. Like I know there's like, I really like when albums are like one cohesive like story.
Yeah.
Just spanned across like, I'm trying to think. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, first one that comes to mind is Linkin Park's Meteora. But again, I'm sure you didn't listen to that. That was like my angsty teen days. That was the first album I bought outside of Christian music, so it meant a lot to me.
There's the one I want to give a listen. The one before I did a lot, but the one before, I think the Meteor I didn't really get into as a kid. I remember I listened to it maybe once or twice.
Well, that one like at least like audibly like the songs like bleed into each other. So if you listen to the soundtrack all at once, it's a nice.
Okay, I'll give it a listen then.
I don't know if it really holds up. Again, it's kind of like that's my nostalgia. So it, like putting it on something
late
else.
'90s is like it's that when you go back and it's like Limp Bizkit and all that stuff. You get in, it's kind of hard. It's
all
rough.
the new metal like. I don't know. Hey, it's NU metal. Is that genre new metal? Yeah. So.
What's the kids listen to nowadays?
About 20 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's jump into this. Let's try to. I say I want to try to keep it short, but I still have 5 pages of notes, and I wasn't even like trying. I was just on my phone. I was like, "Oh, that's funny. That's good."
I don't know. You could always do it the other way. I mean, I hate to do the over-glossing much, but hey, I do like in depth, but it's hard to go like, you know what I mean? Like
it's hard to gloss over topics
because sometimes you might miss things that you know what I mean, like because then you get the nitty-gritty. I don't know. It's up to you. You're the host. I'm here. I'm just here.
Right.
I'm here for the memes.
I guess I'll try to summarize.
You do general stuff, so you can like general ideas, like what you know what I mean, like, things that work, things that don't work, things that like. Who's your favorite character? I don't know. It's kind of generic, but they work though. I mean. Like we're doing this in real time. Yeah, everyone. I love it. This is real. This is how podcasts are made, baby. Like,
all right. So I'm going to try to at least condense it. So like the first like 10 minutes is a series of Nic Cage's character, H.I. Was it McDonough? Right? I think that's what his last name. I
remember they call him H.I.
Yeah, they just call him H.I. It's a series of him like robbing the same convenience store and then going to prison. And over the time, he's like he meets like the policewoman who's like taking the photo, and over time he ends up getting like weirdly like connected with her in a way, and then they end up like getting married. But like just throughout this whole sequence, like you see him meeting other characters in prison, and just how shitty he is at life, to where he's just constantly going in and out of prison for doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how like she kind of fell for him. I think it's just because convenience. It's one of those times, you know what I mean? Like as a guy,
small town and convenience.
I think as a guy, sometimes you're the right place at the right time kind of thing, or you're just like you're being a genuine human being to her at the right time. You
Consistency
know what I mean?
and rapport. That's what what happens.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how people hook up with people's jobs all the time. You're just there.
Yeah, because
yeah.
And then she's like all sad because her fiance left her, and he's like,
like,
tell him to come meet me at prison to fight. And you're like, all right, dude.
Right place at the right time, and he's just struck in there.
And this is when, like, I was like, is that John Goodman? I couldn't tell at first because again, this is 30 years ago.
Yeah,
it's a very different John Goodman.
Yeah,
his Nic Cage's hair in this is the fucking best.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
the craziest Cage hair I've seen. I don't know if it was
better than Next?
Huh?
Better than Next?
It's different. They're so different. They're so different. But this one, I have to go with this one just because it's so insane. But yeah, like, okay, so yeah, we're going through this, and he's like talking to his cellmate, who's like talking about like eating sand or something. I wasn't really.
Yeah, it was like almost like
it was pretty an incoherent story.
It kind of reminds me because all of the movies for me it was like more of a intense version of screwball movies. The screwball comedies are known to do, I guess. They're not known. They're not known for a lot of things. But it was like almost to me it almost felt like a parody of like a screwball comedy, but showing love to it. Because it was like, it almost reminded me of Shawshank, where it's like, back in my day, you know what I mean? You the parents are like, you kids in your fancy, like, your pizza, back in my day, all I had was, you know what I mean, that. I used to have a box of grits, was, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Your kids in your fancy grits, I had a box of grits, and we had to use, like, you know what I mean, like, rainwater to mix with it. If it didn't rain, we used to eat it. And back in my day, we had, like, mud, mud. And,
yeah.
And he's like, back in my day, I'm eating sand. He's like, sand? He's like, sand. We ate sand. That's all we had to eat. And we didn't have, we had to eat rainwater. We drink rainwater.
Yeah, I think that screwball comedy is the best way to put it, because even, like, they're, like, doing, like the prison, like, meetup, and they're having, like, a therapy session.
Yeah.
And they're talking to the one prisoner about being a man trapped in a woman's body. And that felt very weird and out of place. I was like, I guess it's the 80s, and that's the era of, like, trans people were, like, they were the villains in so many movies at the time.
Sexual deviants.
Yeah, and so, like, I guess what that was. Again, I can't harp on it too much, because it's 30 years ago. And cinema the world at that time was greatly different. I mean, he even makes a joke about Reagan. He's like, not easy flying with Reagan in office or something like that. And it was like one of the earliest lines in the movie. It's like
not easy flying with Reagan.
Yeah, he is pretty much like hating on Reagan for being in office.
Yeah, I remember
that
it was a big like weird thing about. I was listening on another podcast where it was like a big thing like people in rural areas getting screwed over, because unions get screwed over. So there's a lot of intense hatred for Reagan.
Yeah,
for breaking up unions, and a lot of people lost their jobs and all that stuff. So it was like everyone was like, I guess in rural areas it's like fuck Reagan was like the motto.
Yeah,
anytime you didn't have like, oh man, you know what I mean? Sorry, we can't have steak anymore because fucking Reagan. Like so that was the sentiment I was listening about. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, again like.
I can't think of we think it's bad now. Imagine like going and saying, "Oh man, sorry, my hours are cut because fucking Trump." You know what I mean? Like Jesus Christ. I know what you think. We think there's Trump hate now. I don't hear that kind of rhetoric all the time. We're like, no one's like, "Oh man, dude, why were you late?" It's fucking Trump, dude. Like fucking Trump, man.
Watching The Irishman and this back to back gives me a whole new light on unions and the presidency within unions and the presidency's overview. It's Irishman was really fucking good.
Yeah, okay.
I told Mark I watched it and he called me. And he never calls me.
Oh,
He's
really?
like, you want to talk about it real quick? I was like, yeah, dude.
Did he see the episode? Did he see like Alamo or somewhere?
Yeah, he saw the Alamo. He said he even had to like leave to go put money in his meter because that's
really?
the meter wouldn't go high enough for the movie.
Oh shit.
Let's see.
Fuck, I gotta watch it. I'm gonna watch it one day. Watch it always.
All right, so he gets out of prison for the last time and he marries Ed, and then they're in like this trailer where like they're gonna start their family. Which, by the way, I've had some family living in trailers and stuff. That's actually a pretty nice trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
inside of it was actually dope. It was bigger than I thought it was. Like a double wide.
Yeah, it was definitely a double wide. And then he was talking about like building a family. And it's like next step to have critters, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's a really bad outlook if you're gonna have kids. You're calling them critters because that's exactly the way they're gonna be. And it's saying like, oh, we have too much love for each other, so we need someone else. I was like, that's like the pinpoint of like our relationship isn't working. Let's have a baby to save it. Yeah. Or it was like, having a baby. Is this a personality? Is this a personality for me? Kind of thing. And you're just like,
I didn't get the movie. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the motive. I'm lost in it. Sorry, dude.
I think it was just they're like, oh, like we love each other so much. We're gonna have a kid to share that love, I guess.
I don't know, because I was tired. It was just a batshit crazy movie to me. It didn't make any sense.
I think probably a little bit of both, because I was tired and I had to stop and rewind a couple times.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? It felt like it was like, I don't know. It was weird. I'm a fan of their screwball comedies. I haven't, like, obviously, we've had to burn off the reading. This was like this more screwball-y movie than they made. Where it's just like, you know what I mean? It was just like, I don't know, but it was like, there, now we're gonna have you know what I mean? Like, I'm a cop, and I'm gonna marry this guy, and I'm like, when I have a baby, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Am I missing chunks of the movie? Am I just half asleep? Or...
Well, it goes really
It wasn't bad, it was like, it wasn't fully done. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the movie's like, going, like, cranking it, like, you know what I mean? Like, hit the floor running, and it's... And now she's gonna have a kid with the ex-con guy? Like,
yeah, it moves very fast, but I kind of like that. I like when epilogues don't, like... really harp on it,
and that was too. If you don't mind, pause real quick. I'm just saying the whole idea of like the whole like him giving the narration and then it's raising Arizona, bringing the title, and it's like supposed to be an epilogue of what's going on. I mean, let you know that this is like, oh man, hold on to your seats, motherfuckers. Like this movie's gonna really crank up after this thing.
Yeah, okay.
Because it shows all the title, you know, like John Goodman, everybody else is gonna be in it. I forgot Francis, you know, pretty much the names of the characters in the thing, and then it's like now the movie's gonna start. You know, this movie's a fucking wild ride, like. Buckle in, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Of like a lot of times, like epilogues, they kind of like just like take way too long. And this one, it was like about 11 minutes before the title screen. But they kept it fast paced enough, and there was plenty of jokes in the beginning to where it didn't feel like I was like sitting in a class being talked to.
Yeah.
Like even like when he's like going like there's the like a montage and he's got a convenience store and he's trying to get in his car and he locked his keys in and he just goes on foot. Like that's a great little joke.
But I think the setup was like, hey, what if, I guess maybe they're just like both high one day. Like what if like a crazy ex-con and like a cop, whatever, you know what I mean? Like try to like kidnap a kid and like raise him. Yeah. And we'll go with it. And that's what they pretty much and that begins this movie and that's the title comes up, like the title card comes up.
And then like we get where they find out she's barren and she can't have kids. And I love that scene because she's upset, and Nic Cage is kind of just sitting there, and for some reason the doctor is like showing them a diagram of like a uterus, and he's kind of smiling, and there's just like this wind noise in the background going, and it's just kind of just like, and I was like, that's. Because, like, to emphasize her being barren. Oh, and I remember sitting there, and I was like, this is mean, but it's also. It's also pretty funny.
That's like the whole like punch up. I can't help but think of like Wes Anderson old times, like too. Like Grand Budapest Hotel was like to me is like that version of like if Wes Anderson directed like a screwball comedy, you know, in like the rural, this would be the movie kind of thing. Because it felt so much like Grand Budapest, you know, the exaggeration with like the colors and like the set design and like the sound design, which is the big thing. I mean, the show to get perfect. That's exactly what he would do in a movie too. So. It just amped it up to me, like the whole and then cutting to it.
Again, like there's even just great little scenes like that I love. Like it's for most people, like even for the editing staff, it could have just been a throwaway scene, but I loved it. Like that little scene, perfect. And then like trying to get adopted, and like they're like, well, she's a cop and she was decorated. He's like, but he's an ex-con. He's like, we're all reformed, and they open the file, and he's just like pulling the paper out and just extending this rap sheet.
Convicted.
Yeah, and then I didn't really catch what they say about the salad days. Like, no returning to the salad days, and I guess the salad days were like
the good times.
Yeah,
the honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase.
That's what I thought it was too.
There's a lot of like idioms or like these strange like Midwest colloquialisms I just don't know about.
They love doing that. I was there too. Because I can't help but watching and think of their whole catalog. And you know how like Fargo and this and that. They have this weird infatuation with like the Midwest. And, and dare I say it? I hate this. This is gonna be mean, but I guess states some people call flyover states. Whatever I would say. I mean, it's a derogatory term, but it's.
I think that's totally
states
fair.
Where people don't, not in the coastal areas.
I had to screenshot the scene where like they're going through the process of like not having kids, and Nic Cage is standing in front of the mirror like trying to shave the scene.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like he's just staring in the mirror, and it's I don't know why I was like, this is incredible. And he's just like standing there with like holding this razor with shit. I don't know why that just stuck with me.
Sort of like I feel like to me what it's like to probably be married and to be miserable. It's like psychotic, just miserable.
Yeah, as someone who just like over the weekend though, just dealing with like just being with like my family. Like I'm used to just being by myself. I'm be like, I'm gonna go do this right now, and I do that thing right then. yeah. And I'm like, hey, a movie's gonna be like 20 minutes. I'm getting ready to go. I'm like, oh, but wait for this, and it's like 10 minutes later, and like. Movie's about to start, guys. Oh, we're just putting on our shoes on. Did the dog get fed? Did we turn the radio on for the dog? I'm like, let's go see the movie.
Damn, that's exactly, holy fuck. That's exactly happened to me too this weekend. It's literally just like, I'm ready to go and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, there goes the previews. There goes that. I might miss like 5 minutes of this fucking movie. Like, you're just like, and there's nothing you could do because it's your family. You just have to just.
I think I've hit that stride that Jim Carrey talks about being alone, and then after you're alone for a certain period of time, it's hard to not be alone.
Yeah,
because you're just so used to it. I think I've hit that point because it's like my close friends. I can like hang out with them and stuff, but still at a certain point, I'm like, I need to go be home by myself and do something, or like, you guys are taking too long to do this. I'm just gonna do it by myself. So. Probably not good. Probably a reason why some people don't talk to me now.
Oh, I mean, you get, it's like ultimate claim of like your own time. You know what I mean? How you, or not your own time, but how you want to do actions you want to do. You know, you don't have to share the idea of actions somebody else. Like, you know what? I want to go to bed now. I could imagine like doing that. On a side note, like having to be like married and like have to wake up at the same time. That would drive me crazy. Like sleeping in the same bed with somebody, having to wake up with them all the time. I like waking up at I'm gonna wake up at 8. So I have to be at work at 6. So I have to wake up at 6. You have to wake up at 6 and try to go back. You can't go back to sleep, so you just start staying up all morning and like. Shit like that is like weird. Like,
lucky for me, I've always been the morning person, so I get up at like 6 or 7. And
then she has to stay in bed the whole time and resent you. You're like, you're shaving too loud or this and that, and like when you get separate bed, you know it's just like divorce.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we have some bitter outlooks on marriage, don't we?
It's better not to be. Whatever works. I mean, ultimately, I was just saying, so whatever works. That's what I'm saying. It's because we're so ingrained in the default. That's what I think. Whatever works for people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good thing about it too. It's not a lot of women like trying to like, oh man, right? Well, like, will you, Tarell, marry me, please? So it's not that problem either. I don't have that issue. There's not a slew of women waiting to get married.
Speaking of bitter marriages,
nice.
the montage of them just being fucking bitter towards each other, and they're just like, she stopped cleaning and she stopped going to work, and he's like hating his job, and he's driving by convenience stores, like out of the way, like the one he always knocks over. It's like going by an ex's house. It's like he's like reminiscing, and he's like thinking about going in, but he's like, I can't. And then they decide they see that a local, celebrity, Nathan Arizona owns. Was Unpainted Arizona, which is like the biggest unpainted furniture franchise, which I love that fact. Yeah. I love that obscure. That's Unpainted. That's like a local celebrity. It's like, oh, this is Timothy Campbell. He's heir to the tomato soup.
I thought of Appliance Direct. That was like me. I shut up that guy. That's what I thought of that guy. Yes. Appliance Direct guy.
I went to school.
He's been a staple like for so long in like Florida. I mean, in like this Central Florida. I thought of that guy.
I went to school with his daughter.
Really?
Yeah, the Appliance Direct guy. We had Family Auto Mart.
Oh shit!
You know, have you seen the Family Auto Mart? Those two.
They had the same. No, I remember them. I remember Appliance Direct.
No, they're totally different. They're both like local celebrities.
Oh, for me, it's just always been Appliance because he's the same guy who's been on TV for so long. You know
I love appliances.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that dude. I've met him a few times. It's cool.
Nice.
But like the Family Auto Mart, you remember that?
No.
These two really overweight white dudes that would always do cartwheels.
No.
You have to watch the infomercials.
I used to, because remember the 90s as a kid, I didn't watch TV like that. I mean, I still we don't have cable back then. There'd be so many inundated like local commercials. There's like a whole string of like, you know what I mean? Because that's back when it was. It was like that. It was an era of like having constant like come down to so and so's like used car dealership. You know what I mean? Like everyone had it was like, the market was saturated with all these different commercials. I remember growing up. Now it's like I don't remember any of them except Appliance because he does like I occasionally do ads and like you know what I mean like in YouTube or whatever it'll pop up. But
the Family Auto Mart. Like
I remember the name because it's like great, like almost like Mogan Muns and Mines and all that stuff. Yeah. Like they're getting a lot of free. Hopefully blow up. Maybe get a lot of free advertisement.
The
Mogan Muns and Muns.
The creator of Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch, he would vacation in Florida, and the Family Auto Mart commercials haunted him so much that in his show Gravity Falls, he actually made a character that was like representational of them, like to a T. I remember watching that show with my sister. I'm like, this character seems really familiar. Why can't I put my finger on it? And then he came out with that, and I was like, I fucking do it. So Nathan Arizona is this like local celebrity, and they came out with like they were taking fertility pills, and his wife had 5 sons, and that was like they're like, oh, like we got to get us one of those kids. He's like, Like, they've got too many kids for them to handle. And so they're like, oh, we're going to plan to kidnap this baby. And of course, it's a fucking terrible idea. And I did like that they just kind of strapped a ladder to the top of their, like, Cadillac and just drove by. And it's like, no one noticed that. Like,
small town, a lot going on against the road.
Yeah.
Everyone's asleep kind of thing. I think because like driving on the road areas, it's weird how different their lives are. Not different. I think it's something, I don't know, it's just kind of weird condescending. But even when I remember last time, I really made me appreciate when I went like Tennessee and Colorado, just how like different their lifestyles are different. It sounds kind of fucked up. But even like living in a suburban area, you know what I mean? Like how like
they're super out of touch.
Like how we're like even now I was out like by Lakeland, just coming in from like fucking Lakeland, and just how like me circling around. Like for example, I was hungry on the way here, right? When I'm hungry here in the Greater Orlando, I just like drive in one direction, and then like 5 minutes there's a Taco Bell or a Wendy's, and that's it. I'm just looking for a drive, looking for drive whatever. Okay, I'm driving in the direction I'm going anywhere I want to go, right? And I just keep driving until I hit a Taco Bell or Wendy's or whatever, and I just pull in, grab food, and I'm like driving and eating as I go from like in a hurry. And I don't, I mean, I'm like rushing to get here or whatever. Not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to stop and eat. But driving there, I'm like, dude, it's been like fucking 45. I haven't seen shit. Like, and that's a weird way of me. It's like so foreign. Or like now, if we're hungry, like probably like, if I want to go eat some meat, there's a fucking like Walmart across the street. I can grab like something, throw in my microwave when I get home, and you know what I mean. That's fine if I want to get something different.
There's a Taco Bell, McDonald's.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour one. There's all this. It's just weird and like how like
if you drive far enough down, you can run into a Church's Chicken.
There's that too. There's a Wawa right there. There's all that shit. It's just so weird how like we don't think like it's weird how like the light and because everything to me it's like the night is active. You know what I mean? The city is active. It's always active. I mean, it slows down, but there it's just like it's like 6 o'clock. It's like sun's down. It's like the whole thing is shut down. Everybody's home and like doing nothing. So that's what I thought when I thought that too. Is like when I go to like Tennessee, even though the gas stations were, it's just weird to like here. It's just everything is so like I don't know. It feels like there's like a lot of activity. But then there it's like the sun's down, everyone's gone, everyone's done, everybody's like so if you like driving them and no one noticed, dude, like what do you mean? Like you could do cartwheels at night, you don't get to dance naked in the street all night long, go to the whole city naked or whatever. No one would like what happened? Like
it's the kind of place that like we leave our car doors unlocked and our keys in the ignition because they got nothing to worry about.
Because we know every single family knows each other and like the whole town shuts down and like nobody's gonna like nothing's going on. Like it's just bare. It's weird. It's like just sort of this weird, like beautiful. I guess maybe in a way, like beautiful sort of quietness and sort of somberness. Like
I mean, I've traveled up north a little bit, like North Carolina and stuff, and Alabama and places like that. And it's very strange.
So weird how it is.
I remember I vacationed with my family. I must have been like 13. We went to I think it was maybe North Carolina or Georgia. I don't remember, but it was literally the town of Mayberry, and the whole thing was based off of Mayberry from. What's that show? The Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, really?
All of it. The cars, and we rented out like this like mobile home. Or it was like this like lake home or something like that. And it was like an Airbnb in like the early 2000s kind of thing.
Oh shit.
And there was so much Mayberry shit all over the place. And it was very creepy. And it was just everything. Blankets had fucking Andy Griffith and like Ron Howard's face on it, and Don Knotts. There was Don Knotts figures everywhere, and it was the weirdest fucking feeling. It's a weird fucking place.
Oh gosh. Yeah, talent that are scary.
Huh?
Scary shit.
Yeah. So we have Florence and Nathaniel, Arizona, in the living room, which shot very well. And then they're like they hear something upstairs, and High is trying to pick out a baby to steal. And the names were like Harry, Barry, Larry, Jerry, and
Junior,
and and Nathan Jr.
Yeah,
and he's trying to pick out a kid, but he's like obviously being like a bad dad. He doesn't know what to do, and the babies are crawling all over the place, and the parents are staring at the ceiling because they can hear what he's fucking doing up there.
Yeah, great. I was saying great message scene, but anyway, I'm saying that was the first. I know they're known for another thing too. Is that they're known for great like storyboarding. So I feel like these are the scenes were definitely heavily storyboarded. Just the way the Benson scene, the position of the house, like there was one static shot of Arizona and his wife sitting there, and then the way it's like perfectly shown, I guess, to their wealth. How like with the decadent woman, how she's like full dress, and she dressed like a nightingale kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the whole sequence too, the whole like grabbing and how the contrast and the colors of the room and how like it was incredibly bright colors in the bedroom, the blue carpet and the red and all that stuff to make it.
So many colors in the bedrooms.
I didn't get what did you? I don't know the kid scene. I don't know picking up the different kids and putting them down. I guess trying to find the right one and picking up.
Yeah,
it was a really extended scene. Probably
it was very extended. But I think it did it fit with their characters because he's like they're stealing one of 5 like identical twin boys.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just like trying them out. It's like grabbing an avocado and you're like, this one's a little too soft, put it down. But this one, it's a little softer. Or you get like the people that pick up watermelon, they're like smacking the watermelon. And I worked retail for 10 years. I still don't fucking know what they're doing.
It's trying to get a hollow sound. The belief is that it tastes better if it doesn't, but it's more like, I
don't think that's true.
No, it's sort of what is it? Sort of confirmation bias? Yeah, it's sort of. You got a hollow and wanted to, and it was sweet, therefore all almonds be sweet, which is not. It's like buying corn.
I remember some dude was trying to tell me that, and I even tried it. I was like, I don't understand.
Bias. And you try to explain it to them, they get upset. Like, you and your fucking science, fuck you.
Okay, so this whole scene is him kind of freaking out, trying to pick up a baby, and then
but he kept putting him up, putting him down, putting him up, putting him like,
and they were just crawling, and then he almost gets caught, but he ends up leaving and going back to Ed. And he's talking to her, and he was kind of like freaking out. And he even said he was like, it was kind of horrifying of them crawling on me and stuff, and how scary just the babies were. And I was like, and then she tells him to go back up there and get me a toddler, and then he goes back. He steals or he kidnaps. They think Nathan Jr. And so the entire film, like which one they take, and they're like, I think it was Nathan Jr. Like no one actually knows which baby they stole. I really like that. And then he's getting in the car with the baby. He's like, and I brought the instructions too. And he's just like a baby book. And they always keep calling it the instructions. And then they're like, will she be upset about stealing the kid? And they're like, is that like they're trying to justify it? And it's like, you can't. You stole their kid. Like
she had more than she can handle. She had more than she can handle.
Yeah. And then Holly Hunt is just like starts crying. He's like, I love him so much. And he's like, like. I know you do. And they do that they say that back and forth a couple times. And then we got High, who's like trying to like fix up the baby's like crib. And he's like hiding, finds a Playboy, hides it under the bed, and he's about to leave, and he goes back and like opens it up. And I was trying to figure out what was happening.
I don't know.
He picks up and looks through it real quick and then puts it back. It's like, I don't
understand half the motives of the movie. This is one of the most bizarre, like
I love little gags like that though. Of like throwaway gags. Like I love that. That's like my favorite shit in movies.
Because I mean, I watched I like their screwball comedy. This one to me is, I don't say it didn't resonate. I just don't get like half the gags. You know what I mean? Maybe it's too cerebral for me. A lot of times I'll pick up on what they're trying to do, but this one I was just like, what? Like what is going on here? Why are they doing this here? Okay, they're here now. You know, like that was like one of them too. Like, okay, you have to play with my. You know what I mean? If it was like, okay, he wants to like get a quick like maybe some reaction like it's last month's titties and like sadly, somberly like it was part
like
of my life that's gonna change.
It was like I got some tits. He's like panically like looking through the Playboy.
That's what I thought maybe too. It was my last chance before become a father, not to like straight get my shit together.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
So they get him home and they're like showing him around the house, like looking. It's like here's the TV, and then they put him on the couch and they're just looking at him like, we got ourselves a family here, and like let's get a photo. And again, this gag, I loved it. They're trying to get a photo, and High is like kind of like he's kind of stressed because like it's beeping and like about to take a photo, and she keeps talking to him, and he's like, oh, we're set to pop here, honey, because like they're trying to take the photo. And he kept saying that, and she keeps talking, and he's getting more and more stressed, and the photo's taken, and it's a bad photo.
That was a great little scene. The camera getting closer. I mean, like her expectation of everything was going to be, and then like, we're set to pop, honey. We're set to pop, honey. We're set to pop.
Yeah, and he's like.
It's almost a great way of saying that the dancing and stuff, like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, because they're, like, to me, it's them, like, they just jump to having a kid. Like, it's a totally different process when you, like, you're pregnant or going through the adoption process. They just went from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Like, and so they're not fucking ready. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And then, the scene where it's, like, outside the prison, and then John Goodman just comes out of the fucking ground.
Yeah. Oh, Shawshank Redemption style.
Yeah, I know. And he's just like constantly screaming. And he's like being like birthed out of the ground. I don't know if that was a birthing analogy. I assume it was. Because, I mean, I feel like that's what it was in Shawshank.
Yeah, I think this came out after. This came out, I don't know, at the same time.
Actually, let me look.
That was like very much like Shawshank. Coming in the rain, coming out of the sewer in the rain.
Because Raising Arizona was 87. Shawshank was 94.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is before Shawshank, yeah. I remember the book came out at that time. So definitely much, like, very much so.
Color me surprised. Because I was like, oh, like Shawshank. And then I'm watching
That's
it,
what I thought, too. Like, this is just from like,
Shawshank's like Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every time I see that scene now. But yeah, and then he's just like screaming like a fucking madman. And then he shoves his hand in the hole and pulls out his buddy with one hand.
Yeah, by leg first.
That was... And then they're like in the bathroom with like a thing of pomade, just greasing it back. Which I guess another link to Brother Where Art Thou is some like pomade.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was too that their priorities is like rather than bathing it cleanly, they're ready to go back.
Yeah, they're like
disillusioned about like
like we're gonna be back, and they just like they grease their hair back, and then they steal a car, and then they're like they're pretending to be the police at HI's house, and then it's like they're not gonna break up this family. And Hi's like, of course they're not, and he has a gun. I'm like, what do you... She's a cop, too. What the fuck are you doing? But again, I can't... It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Is she really a cop after this, after the kid? Because I feel like she was, like, technically, but you don't really see her any cops or anything. I think she might have quit. Because it doesn't really make it clear, I don't know, like, because she seems like she's doing cop shit, but, like, not really cop. In the
beginning, when, like, they couldn't adopt and they couldn't have a kid, like, he said that she lost all interest in law enforcement and house cleaning, so I assume she just kind of became, like, just like a stay-at-home like wife, because she like I don't want to say stay-at-home wife, she was just like stay-at-home. I guess she didn't go to work or anything. Let's see. So like so his two ex-con buddies, or I guess they're not ex-cons, they're still cons, are there, and Fugitives. And they're really excited to see each other, and so far they only have the name Junior for the kid, which is like and this is when I was like, oh fuck, that's Holly Hunt. Because her accent, like the way she talked, I was like, I knew I'd seen it before, and I couldn't pinpoint it. And then IMDb showed me this "Oh Brother Where Art Thou."
Oh, okay.
I've seen that movie dozens of times. I think that was definitely the first Coen Brothers movie I saw, and it was the only one I saw for another like 10 years.
Really?
I loved it.
It's a great catalog.
Yeah, I know. I need to. I have Fargo on a VHS somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I picked it up I went through a phase of like. When I was living at home, like I would go to Goodwill and just buy a bunch of VHS tapes. I love
Fargo because it's the screwball comedy and the fact that you can't go wrong. Steve Buscemi, Francis McDormand and Steve Buscemi is like it's like a knockout combo. He's just a great villain.
And
the criminally underrated the guy. I forgot the other guy in the movie. The blonde one who plays the blonde guy in the movie. The German, another German, the European guy. I forgot what he's from.
European dude.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter, but he's great in it too. Dude, they're amazing.
They do a little bit of the emasculated, like who wears the pants in this relationship kind of thing.
And it kind of shows that they're a little bit more intelligent than they put on. Because sort of, I guess, the harebrained, them being they're almost bumbling idiots, but they are very cunning, though, in a way.
Yeah, they're... Yeah.
In a certain way, because one, they're very stupid and coming to their place in the middle of the night and then covered in, you know what I mean, like, I'm assuming fecal matter, and then covered in sewage and fecal matter. But at the same time, they're very good about how to, very manipulated ways. Right?
Yeah, because there are a couple times throughout the film they do like almost get him to like do something.
They're really good at manipulating him and
that's a problem.
Wedging it.
If you want to go into like toxic relationships, some people are really good at bringing out the worst in you, and like you don't really see it until you're not in it. And even if like I can't tell you how many times I've had a friend who has a really shitty boyfriend or girlfriend, and they're always like, well, they're different when they're with me, and it's just the two of us. I was like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
That still means they're a shitty person.
Yeah.
But
like her and him. I agree that's... I don't know, looking like deeper, I guess deeper in the movie, that the fact that she probably saw the tendencies for him to do the bidding and the things that... I don't know if it's the way that he could kind of do the things that she didn't want to do in a way. I don't know, maybe rob, stealing kids and all the wildness, but she could control him and tame him and... I don't know. It's just a weird relationship. It's a weird movie.
It was,
Weird movie.
And then we get the first dream sequence is he's dreaming of fire, and then there's this lone biker like in the apocalypse, and he's killing small animals. And my first thought was, is this Junior from the future? He's gonna like set shit right.
Yeah.
I whenever he's on screen, I have like a new conspiracy theory.
I fucking loved it. That was like one of my better parts of the movie. I didn't dislike this movie. It's just like that was definitely because it reminded me of like a Lynch. I'm a big like a David Lynch. It's kind of a tie into like David Lynch and Wild and Hard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I love how Lynch will have like a regular movie, and then just have like a really just alien type character in this movie that sort of like weaves through the movie. And that's like, perfect like Lynchian. Like have a guy from the apocalypse come through and fuck shit up, and like not really, you know what I mean? Almost like a movie is like a terror, the ripping the fabric of what the fuck the movie is, and just not make any sense, but just sort of fuck shit up the whole movie. And that was like always like a David Lynch movie, because it's even with Lost Highway and other movies he does. It was just like that was perfect. And that's when I'm like, this movie's fucking awesome.
That's where I thought we were going.
Like it's some Lynchian like, because he'll do, you know what I mean? He'll do that. You know what I mean? You'll have or a baby that's like born without, you know what I mean? Like a fucking no eyes in the head, and he's like a puffs or whatever. Like I don't know, just Just shit like that.
And that is immediately followed up with this Evil Dead cinematography of the camera just like on the ground, going over the car, and then up the ladder. And I remember, and I even like stopped. I had to pause it. I was like, all right, when did Evil Dead come out? Because it also came out in 87, or Evil Dead 2 came out in 87. Evil Dead came out in 81.
They've been known to do that in movies, especially like the Big Lebowski. There's kind of a weird, like, almost years later, but I mean, they have a real fast, like, a thing with like putting the camera like on wheels and stuff. Because I remember I had to look it up too. Because I remember Big Lebowski. I'm like, how the fuck they do that? It was behind the scenes thing. They had some sort of like remote control thing where they had like, you know, like almost like an RC thing where they like put the camera on, like, you know, fuck around with different RC toys and like put it on it. But that one was way more elaborate than they had in like Big Lebowski. Because literally went over the car, then up the fucking stair, and through the window. I'm like, that's crazy, dude.
It must have been like on a car, like on a crane, and they were just like, you know, some makeshift thing.
Because that was fucking awesome. I did love that shot.
Yeah, that was really stuck out.
That's what they said. I mean, the good thing you mentioned that it was Evil Dead 5. I was like, what did it remind me of?
That's why my mind was like to like this, like, all right, we just took, you know, a hard left on this.
Turn.
Yeah.
Where you have a pretty much normal movie, and all of a sudden the girl's basically like a fucking demon alien. Like, this is not even a demon alien movie. Like, this is a regular house film. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it when movies do that.
That's
like,
a fucking Lynch thing.
People get upset when that happens in movies where it's not what they expected. I love that. I love my expectations getting shit on.
Really? So you like a regular movie, and all of a sudden like a T-Rex pops to the wall and like eats one of the girls, and that's it.
If it's done well and it's not just some garbage, like if they do it and like it's done well. I can't really explain it any better than that. But if it's done in a lesser ham-fisted sort of way,
okay,
I can get with it. Like,
that's why Lynch is one of my favorite because he'll do that in a movie. He'll like I want it because I mean I'm assuming maybe you'll see him in the movie, but like if you do, like he'll have a certain movie where it's like you'll have like, you know what I mean, a normal like drama. And then, like, 2/3 of the, you know what I mean, like, halfway through the movie, like, you know what I mean, like, fucking, like, you know what I mean, like, this demon creature comes from, like, you know what I mean, like, she's dreaming, comes, like, out of his fucking closet and, like, eats one of her friends, and, like, doesn't come back to that. Like, what the fuck there's no demonology, but it'll somehow resonate throughout the rest of the movie. So when she's anxious, she'll see the demon eyes again, and this and that, and it'll be something like that. Like, how the fuck did we get to the demon from the closet that ate my friend?
Yeah.
And then we're not going to address that, and then resonate through her own being, and almost, like, no one else knows about it, but she doesn't tell anybody, but in the movie, in her head, it'll be her. Like, but it's there because, like, you know, a manifestation of her own anxieties and that with like real world things. I'm like, I love that. I'm like, how the fuck did the demon, like, what? And that was the perfect him, like this fucking man of the apocalypse or some shit. That was great. Like, he was fucking real.
Let's see. So we get now the press finds out that Nathan Jr. is gone, and even like Nathan is like, who was taken was like Nathan Jr. I think. And he's still advertising, like, when he's talking to
them.
And, like,
that was great.
This whole, like, scene with, like, the local police and the FBI and Nathan.
Oh, it was great.
Really, really great little banter. Like, I tried to keep up, but I couldn't take notes. And then they're trying to take Prince, and his real name is Nathan Huffines?
Yeah. It's like, what kind of name is Huffines? Would you buy furniture from Huffines? Like, you could not just use your name. You could just... It was a big time. Was that it was like a Midwestern thing where you had to put your name in the title or something? Yeah, you had to do that. Is it a thing?
Yeah, I think that it was just like an '80s thing. You're like
more trustworthy.
Come down to Dirty Doug's used cars. It's like he was Dirty Doug in middle school and stuck with it. Now he's Dirty Doug's used cars. So I think it was just one of those things.
The banter was really good. And the cops isn't that. The fingers on the camel's suit.
Yeah, he was wearing his damn jammies. That was great.
The father was really good in this. I was like looking him up, like, what else he did? He was great. The Arizona was great, like for a bit little character. That to me is quintessential. I don't know. I don't want to knock the movie. That scene to me is like quintessential, like Coen brother shit. You know what I mean? It just had that back, the cops and this and that, the play between, and then having a comedic build and more ridiculous. Them doing the thing, like, why are you doing? What's the deal with this finger thing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you getting my finger? And then at the end, culminating with him fucking up a jacket he's so worried about. And God damn it, man! He's like picks it up and gets the fingerprints all over, and he's all fucking like the thing and. I'm just paying. That's classic banter.
Even the FBI is like, "You're upsetting the victim."
Yeah, it was good.
And then we get a little bit more of the biker, and the biker's on the case of the convicts. And at this point, I'm like, he's definitely from the future,
and he's real. Yeah, and he's real.
Yeah, and he's real. He's actually there. At first, I thought maybe it was a dream, and then maybe it was him, like, you know, working through shit. But then it's like, oh, he's at the scene. Because
that would be Lynch would have him like being behind, you know, like for like movie progresses, and like you'll see a scene with a Nic Cage, and he's like over him, breathing on his neck, but like, he's like wondering if he'll see him, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it because like a manifestation of his own anxieties and insecurities, and like you'll see maybe later on, you'll like eat like a, you know what I mean, like his wife or some shit drag her, and he doesn't stop and help her, and he's like, oh man, I don't know what to do, like the demon dude's eating her. and then it ends, and it's just like,
yeah. And then the biker, he rams down the bathroom door with his motorcycle.
Yeah.
And gets a good old sniff of the pomade, and then he's on their trail.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
And I was like, oh.
I love that.
Again, and then I was like, he's definitely either from the future, or maybe he's some sort of fucking demon. I don't know.
But I'm in. I liked it.
And then we get the cons are giving Ed shit for not breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where it's like, they do know well enough that they're like, if you're not breastfeeding, that's kind of strange. Because, I mean, eventually she will start lactating, just, like, biology. Because, I mean, we had, like, there's wet nurses that, like, you know, they never had kids, or they didn't have kids for years, but they were always lactating because they're, I think it was like this is going to sound real fucking ignorant if I'm wrong.
Go ahead, go for it.
If I'm wrong, this is going to sound like some idiot. But from what I could tell, it was, like, as long as, like, they were, like, there was a baby there, like, they could lactate. Like, it was biology taking over.
I don't even take pills for it to help you lactate.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, if you go on that part of the internet, leave it at that.
Yeah?
There's a lot of people that take pills for it. You can, like, take up certain things and, like, make it produce it. Yeah. Some pretty interesting corners of the internet. I didn't even know this is a thing. Well, I guess so. No. Okay.
So, here we got your favorite character. We get Glenn and Dot.
Yes.
And we got the 5 kids beating the shit out of High's car, which I thought was great.
It was like
they call him H.I. I just keep calling him High.
Either one.
Okay.
Like H.I. The cons on both of them.
And I don't know if they're relatives or no, they weren't relatives. No, it was his boss.
Yeah, and his wife.
And like these kids are just like terrible. This is when we get the joke about the Pollocks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then we get the whole thing about like 5 years to get a healthy white baby, which funny. And then like lead up to like, or you get 2 Korean babies. It's like, okay.
I like Glenn because he's just so ridiculously like obnoxious and just dumb. He's like, almost maybe because for me this first time in the movie that someone was like a character. Okay, so now it's a character. Maybe it's a caricature of a character. You know what I mean? He's like really just so overly jerking a head movement. He's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he was just like literally just a sound. Okay, this is what we're doing. We're getting into that sort of Coen brother like a ridiculously over the top character of a character, but just sort of like, you know, owning up to the fact that he's just like, I'm an idiot. He even
chucks a handful of M&Ms at his kids. His kid's like right in front of him. He's like, hey, his head's up, and just chucks a handful of M&Ms. He's like, ha ha. He's like, what the fuck?
Maybe because he's that, and the actor just owned the fact that he's playing. He didn't try to like, you know what I mean? He was a true and through idiot in the movie. He's supposed to be like, you know what I mean? That he's not trying to like be serious with it. He allowed himself to be full stupid.
Yeah, because they even go on. He's like, you know, Dot says these kids are getting too big to cuddle, so she wants another one.
Yeah, and then the joke is like, you know, there's a good joke about it. I don't know. Like, he was just so incredibly, like, you know, it's a good, you know how many posts it takes to toast it in the light bulb? I said it wrong. You know what it's supposed to, that's funny, right? He was just so incredibly obnoxious, and he went for it.
Yeah, and at this point, like, like, they keep changing the name, like, we're going to name him Ed Jr., and like, you're going to name him after his mother? Like, Edward Jr., and it's like, all right. And the next scene where they're sitting at the picnic table and Dot is kind of like pushing Ed to like really like drill into High about like getting all these shots and all this insurance and all this stuff, and that scene stressed me out. Like having 2 people team up, it's like, why aren't you doing this? It's like, no one fucking told him.
Yeah,
I felt that stress because he's like stressing out, and he's got to have his diptet, which I don't know what diptet is. It's their diphtheria and tetanus shot. I'm pretty sure that's what diptet is, and that's not really a term they really use anymore for the most part.
That's a lot of shit for kids.
Yeah, they're throwing all this responsibility on High, because like really like the way they set it up is like she wants a baby and he's doing all this to have a baby, and then once they have the baby, it's like, oh, it's your responsibility to do everything. I'm just gonna feed the baby. It's like, yeah, feeding is really important, but also there's a lot of shit that this dude who's an ex-con who has his first job at like, what was it, like a license plate factory or some shit? I
thought it was a steelworker at Hudsuckers.
Yeah, he was a
Hudsucker Industry, which plays by the next film is Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah.
The next Coen Brothers film.
Was it?
Huh?
What?
Hudsucker Proxy, I believe, is the next film.
Is it?
Yeah, for this one, because the movie is Hudsucker Industries instead of a little Easter egg for Coen Brothers fans.
Oh. I did not know that. I've not been keeping up with films lately. I need to, though.
It was their first foray into studio filmmaking. Up until then, there were indie filmmakers up to that one. Little Coen Brothers trivia.
Oh, good to know. I'm trying to think of the last Coen Brothers movie I saw. And I honestly
Did you see Buster Scruggs?
I did not.
It was okay. That. I mean, some of them were really good. Some of them were just kind of weird.
I mean, I love the Coen brothers vibe. Like, from off the top of my head, between A Brother Where Art Thou and Raising Arizona, just the vibe and like the dialogue and the flow, I absolutely love it. So I definitely got to see more. But then I'm kind of, I don't say I'm stuck doing this, but I got to focus on the Nic Cage films.
Oh yeah. Got to.
So we have High's having like a panic attack, and he's like, talking to Glenn, you ever feel suffocated? And Glenn makes some sort of joke. He's like, yeah, I keep bugging her Dot to lose weight. Ha 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 ha. Typical like husband making fun of his wife for being fat joke, which I've never liked nor understood.
I don't think because like earlier say Frances McDormand is still kind of hot. This is weird. She is hot though.
Who, Dot? What?
Frances McDormand? I don't know. It's a weird something about her. Maybe she's tough. Something about tough fights, like tough women, like tough. Strong
I can agree with that.
She's strong.
She's
a very strong woman, and that's what I don't know.
I like
she's
strong
appeal.
women.
She has a good appeal.
And then he goes on, like, this is when he starts throwing in the ideas of like swinging. He's like, Dot thinks you're cute, and I think Ed's pretty cute too. And this is when like High punches Glenn like 15 feet away, which I fucking love.
I remember that part. I remember him knocking him out and him like fucking.
He punches him, and then they it's like a ground shot for Glenn on the ground, and High's like 15 feet away.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm like dumb. I didn't catch it. He's like, hey, walk up to him. Oh wait, hold on a second. Yeah, he's like pissing him off.
Yeah, and so then Glenn runs away and ends up like running into a tree. And it was very like 80s slasher, where Glenn's like running as hard as he can, and High's just like stomping. It's like and so Ed gets upset, and they're driving, and then he's like, "Oh, we gotta get some Pampers." He's like, "Oh, I'll be out directly." And he goes in and tries to fucking rob the place, and he's super happy about it. He's like, "Oh, it feels so good." And then Ed gets out of the car. It's like fucking livid that he's fucking robbing a place, and High sees this, and he's like, "Hurry up with the." I wrote it down. I said, Hurry up with it. I'm in Dutch with the wife. I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Yeah, in Dutch with the wife?
That's what he said. I even had to put subtitles on because he said, I'm in Dutch with the wife. Because she was mad at him. I don't know what that means. Let me see what... I don't need a translation. Let's see. Idioms. Something to do with Netherlands? No. That is not what I'm looking for. Oh, in trouble. Okay. Well, I should have been able to fucking glean that from the fucking sentence. But anyway, this starts a whole chase scene where she drives off with the car. He's running with Pampers under one arm, a bag of money, and pantyhose on his head. And he's running down the road, and he's like smiling. He's like so fucking happy.
To be like High again. It was a really good sequence too. That was a great sequence.
It just kept going. And he's on foot running and happy, and then they're just like shooting, like they're just shooting like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Even the cashier ends up like trying to shoot him through the glass, and the cops are shooting at him, and they're like everyone's chasing each other down. Even like he runs into a dog, and the dog gets loose and is chasing him down.
That's some very 80s, 90s shit where it's like running to the backyard shit, which I haven't seen in a long time.
Very Ferris Bueller.
Like that's what I thought of too. That how you could run the backyard and then into somebody's house, running through their house, and the cops coming behind. Like freaking a lot of Steadicam work where it's like when the cops like behind them running through the house too, and like
that house
really well done. I'm like wow, watching like the whole Steadicam shot was really good because it was actually really well lit and had a lot of interest. I kept watching it and how hard it must have been shot to like shoot that well of like a sequence.
Yeah, especially through that house,
a night sequence, and actually be well lit and actually keep it like cohesive and follow the action. I'm like, holy shit, they should do like an action movie. Like they should.
Yeah,
that was really good. I love how they went through like all that shit to get the cops. And...
Yeah, because then like even like again at night, like he gets hit by a car. And it's so fucking dark, but it's lit well enough to where like you can see what's happening in the foreground, but in the background, pitch black.
Yeah,
which I really liked. It made it like feel really cut off and focused on like what's going on.
Shout out to Barry Sonnenfeld, the DP, for doing that. Oh, yeah. Who went on to direct. Yeah, I can't help it. The trivia thing. Who went on to leave. He was their Coen Brothers director. I mean DP for years until he left after this. I think it's the last movie he did with them. Afterwards, he went on and directed such films as the Addams Family movies. And historically, the Wild Wild West film.
Oh.
But he would do a lot of the...
oh my god, that movie.
But he did a lot of... He went to Men in Black films. So he went on and pretty much had his own career directing after this.
Nice.
So he got the pitched up with Roger... After this, they went with the legendary Roger Deakins. Are you familiar with him?
Roger Deakins?
The DP. famously, pretty much after he did all the Coen movies after that, and like we'll see where he's a big collaborator with Dennis Villeneuve and a couple other directors. He's a big I like him.
When you said Roger Deakin, there's a character in a Psych episode named Roger Deakin.
Oh, really?
And that's exactly where my mind went. It was probably a reference to him. That show is just 100% references.
He's a great DP. I'm excited for what he does in the future.
Let's see.
Takari and all that stuff. So yeah.
The cashier was still chasing them. He gets attacked by the dogs.
Yeah.
High gets launched through the windshield of the car because he's not buckled up.
He stole the car. He tried to get that guy to that car.
And the dude's like freaking out. This is when they do the chase through the house real quick. Really quick scene. Really well done, in my opinion.
The cop is like right there, and the fact that after where he gets out, and his wife does that freaking. Everyone knows how to fucking whip it like crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
dude, like myself imperfect. I haven't tried in my car yet. But the fucking.
I'm not.
Slam your brakes and hit the 180. Like
I have done it before. I went to like this driving course. It was like I was like I think like 16 or 17, and I was like, oh, you're gonna do this driving course. It wasn't I gotten tickets or anything, but it was just a way of like ensuring I was gonna get my license.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, we're gonna teach you how to correct hydroplaning.
Oh shit!
And I was driving a Chevy Astro van, and they wouldn't let me do it in that because like it's gonna tip over. So like, I was like, one of the guys was the cop. He's like, we'll get my patrol car, and it was like a Mustang like GT, and I was like, shit. Oh fuck yeah! I was just fucking doing donuts, and they're like, all right, we need you to actually hydroplane the figure. I was like, all right, fine. So they end up getting chased into another department store or another like grocery store.
Oh yeah.
And then like more shootouts ensue, and he's stealing more diapers. Everyone's got a fucking gun.
Yeah.
The meat guy in this one, he's got a gun. He's got a shotgun, just shooting product all over the place. And Heinz just kind of run around like no big deal. Oh my god, so fucking good. And then Ed actually picks him up, punches him, and then they're fighting. It was like they're fighting / giving High giving her directions was so good. Like when they're in the car and they're like really fighting and bickering, and he's like, "Oh, hun, take a left here."
Oh yeah.
And they go back to it. He's like, "Oh, hun, right?" And you're trying to figure out like it's like, doesn't she know where she's going?
Yeah.
And he's leading her to the diapers that are in the road.
Oh yeah.
And he just kind of opens her and just scoops them up. I'm just like, fantastic.
That was a fucking great scene.
Let's see, and then. We got the ex-cons, and they're talking about a bank heist, and they're like really pressuring him to do this bank heist because they're like, "You're no good to no one here, especially to your wife, if you don't have a job and not doing this and that." So they're trying to convince him to come rob a bank with him, and then
he says no. Yeah, he doesn't do it. Yeah, he just like, fuck no.
And they bring up their doctor saying that like talking like. They say, "Oh, you need more ambition," and I like that they're using like this doctor from prison that's like trying to help them like get straightened out. They're using his like influence to like
manipulate him in a bad life again.
Yeah, I love that. And then we get to the bikers on the road again, and that was just I just love that biker. Every time I see him, I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, is he like a hitman from like the future? Is he alien? Is he fucking Lobo? Like what?
Yeah, he's just there. He's just like the sort of omnipresence of it.
And then whenever High is writing, he's very poetic, which I really liked.
Yeah.
Because he's writing a letter of why, like where he's going and like what he's gonna do, and he's like writing goodbye. This is where you find out his name's Herbert. And like it's very poetic and very like. It was just very nice to like have his writing rather than him like speaking. Let's see. Yeah, so we get the biker. He arrives. He follows the pomade trail and he's camps out and just watches the trailer, but doesn't do anything, which is very creepy.
I remember that. It was crazy. What was that?
Yeah, he just like camped out. He followed the trail. You saw him like on a hill, like looking at the camper that they were in.
Yeah. And
he just stopped and made a fire and like continued his theatrical smoking. And this is this scene where he meets up with Nathan Arizona.
Yeah.
To
great scene.
Yeah, because when I saw this, when Nathan saw him, and at first I thought he knew who he was, and I was like, oh fuck. the biker's the devil. He made a deal with the devil to have kids and have this like lucrative business. And they start talking. I was like, oh damn it, no, he didn't. He's just some dude.
Who do you think he was though?
The biker?
Yeah.
He said his name. He said his name was Leonard Small. Did you miss this? Did you?
I remember that, but I mean, who do you think he was though? Like, who do you think he really represents, or
what he represents,
or what he is, or
I don't know. I think I was too caught up in like the idea of him being like this future bounty hunter or like a devil. I didn't really think about it, but I think it might have been like the worst side of like kidnapping, maybe. Because he in this scene even says he's a tracker, and he says he's like, your kid, you're paying $25,000 wars. Like I could get 30,000 easy. Like he even said he's like, I fetched 30,000 myself as a baby back in 1954. So he like he
shit, I guess that.
You know,
I remember like pretty much saying that if I don't, I'm gonna find your kid regardless. You can pay me or you don't pay me.
Yeah, like that's what he's going for. He's like, that's why he's like, you're gonna pay me more, or else he's like, either way, I'm gonna find your kid. Yeah. Like you pay me more and you get your kid back. If not, I'm gonna sell him for more money.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of showing like the real darker side of kidnapping. Like through the whole thing, like they're kidnapped this baby, and it's very goofy and lighthearted, and it's kind of like, ooh, like this is kind of fun and crazy. I think he was kind of like, no, this is what it's really fucking like. Because they're like, hey, he even straight up said, he's like, I know where your kid is. You can either pay me or I'm going to sell him. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever gets me more money.
The darker side? Really? Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, they're making a very
because he seems like a very comical kind of character, too. You know, he seems very, like, you know, I mean, in his own way.
I mean,
I don't know. I can't help but think about comparing it to their other stuff, too, like with No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And how that held the English. Have you seen No Country?
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it came out, and I didn't like it at the time, so I need to rewatch it because I'm sure I'll like it now.
Because I think they had something similar to that, like, but he's like, I mean, because it's more of an elegant sort of like, I don't know, just different kind of, I don't know, but it could be. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm trying to explore what his.
Yeah, I mean, there's the movie's. It's not fast paced, but it's paced well enough to where it just keeps going, and there's no real lulls, and then you kind of just like, and next thing going on. Like, you don't really get a lot of time to really like.
They're known for doing that. They're known for admitting to like doing like what the fuckery in their movies. They like to do that. Like it was like before, like in the beginning of Serious Man. It's like, what's that whole? There's that one scene in the beginning of the movie where it's just like an ancient, like an old scene from like colonial times, where like the person meets his witch, and like everyone's like asking like, what does that mean? And like part of them, because it's nothing to do with the movie. It's just like the movie starts with them in the snow, they meet a witch, like something, and then the movie just goes about, you know, a guy like life falling apart. You know what I mean? Like a dark comedy about his life falling apart. And then it's like, what did that scene in the beginning mean? Because like there's no tie-in. Like we don't know. We just thought it was something cool to like do. And I'm like, what? And you do it a lot. They like to fuck with people like that too, so they're known for.
I mean, they again, like, he catches a fly with his like bare hand at one point, and I was like, are we sure this dude isn't like a fucking demon or something?
Does he advance the plot at any point? Am I missing? Like, maybe I miss that.
He's used as a scapegoat later on because they're like, that guy had your kid, and like, I mean, even that it doesn't work because Nathan does figure it out.
Because I'm thinking, because I remember when he met the father. I mean, I don't think that really. Then I said, I mean, like when he met the father, I don't know. This is like Fargo too. I mean, because I'm getting deep into this thing. Because Fargo, they had a character like that too. It was like a what the fuck character, and he's an Asian that comes back and visit this lady. And he's like, hey, I remember me from your past. And like, what? I mean, I'm trying to like investigate these murder, like, you know, this kidnapping. I don't know how kidnapping is a recurring thing, I guess, in their movies, but. Like, and then he's just kind of there. And it's highly debated amongst like film fans, like, why is this character here? So this is kind of reminding me of that too, where it's like, is there a point where he advances the plot? Or he adds to it.
I think his final scene does advance the plot
when he gets to show that,
because I think without his interference, like they were still feeling bad, but without his interference, I feel like they would have just ended up either keeping the kid or giving the kid to Glenn or something just to have him shut up. Because
so killing him, like, they're actually stopping it before they did some good in his life.
Yeah, I think that like.
But did they know he wanted the kid? No, he did. He snatched the kid. That's right. He did snatch the kid. He did snatch the kid. I forgot about that. I'm like, my memory's blurry.
Yeah.
Apocalypse. Leonard snatched the kid.
Yeah, because the next scene, Glenn comes to the house and he's like, "You're fired," and he's like, "Well, I fucking knew that." And then he knows that Nathan Jr. is their kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, like you're gonna give me Glenn Jr. or you're gonna give me the kid. He's gonna be Glenn Jr."
Yeah.
So like that, which felt like a very bad plan.
Yeah.
But then again, he's obviously not smart. And he had a caution I drive naked bumper or sticker on his window, which was very strange. But and Glenn calls High is like, he's like, you think you're a big man, and High is like shyly says, he's like, I'm not a big man. Like he says it kind of shyly, where he's like kind of like, yo, you flatter me. That was weird. But now the Cons know about the baby, and now they're like, oh, we're gonna get the baby, get the reward, and we're also gonna rob the bank. And their little fight in that bathroom or in the home was so funny.
Which one? I mean,
when Goodman and Nic Cage are fighting, like
a fist fight,
yeah, because Nic Cage like raises his hands to like do a fist, and he scrapes his hands on the ceiling.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
And he freaks out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was good, like little stuff. That was good slapstick humor.
And the house is just too small for them to fight in, and they're just like breaking shit. And he ends up throwing him through a wall and tying him up. And then they're talking about getting the reward for the baby. And they leave, like Nic Cage on the ground, and they come back in to pick up the baby book.
Oh yeah, instructions.
I love that little.
There's like a motif for that in the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think that means in the sign note too? The very current motif of everyone like keeping the book and like the book. The book.
Everyone's treating the book like it's some sort of like golden compass that it's gonna like it's like, oh, everything will be fine if we have the book.
Yeah. Which
is what a lot of parents do. They're like, if I have the right books, I'll be a good parent. Which isn't like, sure they can help, but it's not gonna magically make you an amazing parent. So. I think it was kind of a nod to that of like, none of these people should have a kid right now. Especially the two convicts. Which,
that's what I had to. I thoughts on that. I'll pause it for later then. My thoughts about why they wrote the movie and stuff, but...
we'll come to that. We'll come back to that. I'm almost done with the summary. I'm skipping stuff, but...
It's all good.
Ed comes home and, like, High is, like, getting all crazy, and he's, like, he's like pacing around, like getting guns ready and like packing them in. And he's like ranting about being a family, and he's like, let's go get Nathan Jr.
Damn, I'm like missing all this shit in my head. Maybe because I have to sleep.
I mean,
to show he's a man.
Yeah, because she's like sitting there like very upset, and he's like ranting. And he's like, we're gonna be a family. Like, and he's like cocking a shotgun, putting like guns in his pants and stuff. And then we have the convicts in the car, and it's like this very weird, like, sweet scene of... It was Gale and... I forget what the other guy's name is.
John Goodman.
It's John Goodman and the other guy.
Yeah, William Forsythe.
Yeah.
So, the
other
gap.
The other guy has the baby, and it's like this really sweet scene of him, like playing with the baby, and, like, he's like, oh, he smiled at me.
Yeah.
And it was very weird. It was very much like, it's like, oh, you guys... have never had like affection. You've never had like, now that you have this kid, like just this kid showing you like a little bit of affection, and you're like, all of a sudden you're like, we're not giving this kid up. I think it was right around then they decide not to give the kid up.
Yeah, they're gonna keep it. That was weird. Like, we're gonna keep the kid now. We all want the kid.
Yeah, that was a weird thing that always kept like coming back, like, oh, we want the kid.
Like, everybody interacts with the kid wants it. Like,
so it's this weird thing where it's like the movie's kind of like pro-parenthood, but also anti-parenthood.
The shine of it. There's some of the lust. Yeah. It's almost like the lust of child, like of raising a kid or something. Not lust is the right word, but you know what I mean.
It's kind of like fighting biology, like biologically, like your genes want you to like reproduce. That's what you want. So there's kind of like a thing like. Even like myself, like there's no fucking way I'd be ready to have a kid right now. But there's sometimes like you know, like someone brings their kid to like a family event, and I'm like, this kid's real fucking cute. It's like I could do this, and then I'm like 10 minutes later, I'm like, I can't. I should do this right now.
You know, everyone else does. You find a girl you like, and she's like, have a kid. And if I don't have a kid with her, she's gonna leave me. She's gonna have a kid with somebody else. And
no, I'm definitely in stepdad age range right now.
He's 29.
I'll be 29 in like 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
4 days. So.
No, you'll be fine. You know what? You're still young to be a father. Not too young to have a kid. You're too.
Well, not saying that, but I'm saying like the majority of
girls.
people my age already have kids and have been divorced.
Really?
For at the age of 29 I've effectively beaten my first divorce by never getting married in the first place.
Oh my gosh. That's what my brothers have. They're all like 29 and 22. None of us have kids, so I'm in my 30s.
I mean, my parents are kind of like, they're not like super pressuring me, but they're definitely kind of pressuring my sister because she's 32 and she's been married for like 6 years and she doesn't have a kid. And they're kind of pressuring her, and she's like, guys, like,
you guys can adopt a kid. You guys like.
So the convicts end up like robbing a guy, and I would not go through this scene if it's not just a stupid gag later, but I love it when he's like, count to 820 something, and then count back down to 0. And they're leaving, and they leave the fucking baby on the hood.
Yeah.
And then they start freaking out, and they're screeching and yelling, and they get that good old... This is the longest I've ever heard John Goodman yell. It's a good, like, 20 seconds of just him, like, yelling and, like, punching the ceiling.
Yeah.
And, like, that was crazy. And then the old man, he's, like, counting. He's like, forget this. And he gets up and looks out the window, and they're coming back, and he gets back down, and he's like, starts counting again.
Yeah, that was great.
And then they get the baby, and like he's Gale Jr. now. And I love how throughout this whole movie, no one knows what to call him. They keep calling him something different, but it's always Junior, no matter what. And then again, I didn't understand if like the cons, if they were like the subtext is that they were a couple, or like they were just like partners in crime, or something.
Was John Goodman his friend? Or just friends, right?
I don't know. Like it's something about maybe it was just the introduction of the baby. That made them feel more like a couple, or maybe I'm just reading into it too much. I don't know.
No, I think they're just like two guys.
And they might be
like partners in crime, yeah.
And we get Ed talking about how like we shouldn't be together, and she's like changing her mind about everything. And then we get the biker. He's in their home, and he sees the fart written on the wall again. Like. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. He's like hunting, and he's like looking down at all his papers, looks up, and it just says fart.
Yeah,
and they really focus on it. And then he goes back to the ground, and he finds the article of like the bank that's going to get robbed. So then it's like, now it's getting one of those scenes where like all roads are about to cross, and you're kind of just waiting for it to happen. We get a nice little freezer get on the ground, but that whole scene with the old man, he's like, "No, freezer on the ground." If you can only freeze, I'm not going to move. If I'm going to go to the ground, I'm going to be moving, and then I'm not frozen. Like, just...
like, where are the tellers? And I'm like, we're on the ground. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, oh, yeah.
There's...
Well, then get up.
And, so they're getting money from the bank tellers, and the bank tellers end up putting, like, one of those, like, paint bombs in there.
I know it was so big before. It was, like, a comically big one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's usually, like, just, like, in, like, the pack.
Yeah, it's within the money.
They're small.
It's, like, within, like, the usually, I believe my experience with my personal experience of them. But, like, in movies, it's, like, just within the stacks of cash. It's just in it. You don't, it's got power somewhere.
They needed to make it larger so that the audience knew what it was. They even kind of held it so you saw the text.
It's like a big-ass, like, 2-liter bottle we stuck in there. Like, yeah.
John Goodman said something weird. He's like, if I see anybody bipedal next 5 minutes, they're wearing their ass for a hat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they end up fucking leaving the baby again, and the paint explodes in the car.
Yeah.
And they're freaking out. Again,
it's like paint. I've never seen that before.
I mean,
it's the 80s.
Usually...
I thought, semantics, really. But it's really just weird. It's like a paint, because usually it's like more like the powder. So.
It's like powder. It's like an ink. That's why like it stains and it stays there for a long time. Out.
It's like it gets everywhere. But it was like almost like a full-on, like almost like a can of hand busted open.
Yeah, and then they're going down the road. They run into Hi and Ed again, and then Ed goes to the car, steals the instruction booklet again.
Yeah.
For the baby. And then all of a sudden they're driving, and then all of a sudden there's just a big explosion at the end of the road. And they're just kind of and then like Nic Cage is getting his like crazy eyes.
I thought it was cool. And I know a real explosion too. It was actually cool. It was a real explosion. I forgot.
And
us Marvel kids are just like so enamored with like CGI explosion. We forget what everyone looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because I do kind of miss just like the good old gasoline explosions.
I was like, ooh, that looks different. When I saw that,
looks different. Oh, because it's actual. It looks far less theatrical, especially when it's in broad daylight. Usually, it's like explosions and like it like brightens up and like dims everything. This is just like.
Yeah, because usually everything gets dim. Yeah, you're right. Most movies now, everything gets dim and it brights again. And
you're also Arizona midday. You can't fucking dim shit.
But it was like he comes through and he's like the man, the apocalypse.
And what? This is when Ed sees the biker and she's like, "What is he?" And Hi's like, "You see him too?" And this, I was like, that would be really cool if the biker was some sort of like alternate kind of personality of High, because that would be kind of interesting if like she didn't see him but he did, but he also interacted with Nathan and had this whole conversation, and it was actually like High sleepwalking, and he's like getting ready to like, he's like, oh, I can just sell the kid back for money. He's already kind of he's already getting like pushed back to like the con of his life.
That would work. I don't know. It fits some fucking cool Lynch territory. When he saw him too, I was like, fuck yes. Like Lynch is like, yes.
Yeah.
This is what I like. You see him too, and so now it's only us two can see them, and now it ends up like, this is fucking Lynch territory. I'm like, oh, only those two can see them. Maybe this is that too. Maybe some sort of Faustian bargain. We're like, we'll say that also the kid for money. So like you sell him the kid and like touches the wife's belly, then also she can like, you know what I mean? She's fertile now and that kind of shit. All kinds of shit. Like, that's what I'm getting. My mind was like, oh man, something like that's gonna happen. Then he takes the kid off and, like, you know what I mean, rides off in the sunset.
Yeah.
And you're just like, never know what happened to the kid, but she can have a kid again, and they always wonder what happened. The Arizona's like, they're devastated, you know, they took her back to prison, but they have a kid again. Lynch shit.
Yeah.
Not really, though.
I need to watch more Lynch movies.
Actually, no, because it wouldn't have it happen. It would be like that. Then all of a sudden, she'd like have it in the internet. If it was Lynch shit again, it would be like...
she'd have some sort of, like, mutant baby.
Yeah, and she's, like, crying, and it's like, and there's like, this ending scene is her, like, twisted up, and it's like, she starts crying, but it's like, see the sounds of, like, you know, like, screaming dolphins, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And the movie just ends, and you're just like, is this a bad thing? And the husband laughs hysterically, and then there's fireworks behind him, and ding, you hear an organ play, and you're just like, yeah, that's Lynch, I think. You're like, I don't know, yeah. But, yeah, it was definitely, like... That thing that he saw him was like, that was cool. I don't know. It was a good, you're right, it was a good intersection of all three of them, like, the culminating at, like, the bank, whatever.
I always like that in movies where it's like, oh, we're getting to, like, the last, like, new minute, or the last, like, few minutes of, like, here comes the intersection, and then it happens like this, like,
it's hard.
The biker, like, grabs a baby, puts him on the front, shoots up the car, throws a grenade in, which they get out and they run off, which... Again, I really like that.
That was cool. No, it was.
They get out, they're just like,
they're just sprinting out. They knew what to do, and they weren't like. She was like, yeah.
And the biker just lets out this roar that turns like a rattlesnake thing, and I was like, is this theatrical or what is he? Because I'm still kind of harping. I'm still waiting for him to be like a fucking demon or something, but no. So Ed rushes the biker to get the baby, and she actually grabs the baby, and the biker like pulls out some knives, and then High like shoots the knife out of his hand, and this whole thing gets like super western.
Yeah, throws a knife and it hits the 2x4, and it's just all kinds of. It's just got a real fucking gunslinger. Oh.
And so he ends up like knocking the biker off with the 2x4, and the biker throws a knife in the 2x4, and then throws a chain and like rips the 2x4 and then High is just getting his ass handed to him, and it's such a great scene because he's just kind of like, he even like tries to turn away to like walk away, and he's like limping, and he just grabs him.
He's just fucking him up.
And then he's like, he even like tries to like pull away underneath the car, and he's like, I like how his High's expression doesn't change this whole scene. Like he's barely conscious. He's like crawling out of the car, and the biker grabs him by his foot and just grabs him out, and then High's just like, okay, it's happening.
Yeah, that'd be funny to make harder. Just running. They're just like, this is not me. This dude is like gonna kill me. But he's, I don't know, almost like sort of a passive way of accepting fate.
Yeah, or it's one of those. It's like there's also like you know, so much has happened. You don't know what's going on. And you're kind of dazed and confused, and it's just kind of just happening, and you're just kind of like, your brain's not really processing or like concussed or whatever. We get the biker gives him and like he starts like squeezing him. He's like the anaconda squeeze from Nacho Libre. That's the only thing I can think of. And then for some reason the biker has a Woody Woodpecker tattoo.
Yeah.
And again, I was like, they have the same tattoo. It's like, is it like a gang thing, or is it just like they're both fans of it? Because I don't think they explained the Woody Woodpecker tattoo.
No, they didn't. They didn't explain it. And I think that there's just, I don't know. Now that you said it again, I don't know if there's some sort of connection to the two of them, like almost like him from the future, or a relative, or his son from the future. I don't know.
Maybe it is supposed to be like a son from the future, or maybe it is Nathan Jr. from the future, and he got
a manifestation of himself, or
because they have the exact same tattoo, and he even looks at it, but. If we took the tattoo out of the film completely, we wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah,
we would lose the tattoo.
They didn't even acknowledge it. They just showed it, and I thought he was gonna say something about it, or like, you know what I mean, or like,
oh hey dude, like, oh, we were in the same gang back in high school.
I thought they were going to use it as a misdirection. I thought that's when he had the tattoo as well. I thought it was going to be a point where he's like, "Oh, look, I have one too." And like, okay, we're cool. Like, you know what? And like nods off and he rides back in the sunset or some shit.
Yeah,
but it didn't go that way, and he just
and so I think that maybe if we're really going to read into it, I think I'm going to go back to my first statement of the biker is some sort of like alternate manifestation of high. Because, like, again, like, he's like, he knows where the baby is, and it didn't take him long to get there.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Nathan, Arizona, and he's like, he tells him, like, I can get your baby back, I know exactly where it is, or I can sell it. And I'm sure they saw the reward money, so, and since High's character was getting pushed back into, like, more, like, criminal stuff, like, he was, like we saw him like driving by the convenience store. He's like driving by an exit. Like he misses it. He wants to do it. He wants that thrill again that he's not getting from his marriage now. So maybe it's him like this is what he could be doing if he's going to go full criminal to get money and to try to be happy again with his criminal intent. So maybe it's like maybe that's what the Woody put. I don't know. I mean that's all I got from the Woody.
Yeah, me too. No, I don't even. I was like what I got from I'm thinking of the Coen brothers like fucking with you, like fucking with you. Because I can even watch a Lynch film and I can find all kinds of cool connections and stuff. Because it's never direct. You can watch this movie and be like, you can find your own through line, but there's a progression. Even if you're like you don't know what it is, but you can find both. But like this guy, I don't see. You know what I mean? There's not like at least when I can perceive it. But I don't see a progression where your theory can kind of make sense, no matter which way you go. It's like you start going a pathway and you're like it doesn't really make sense, but fuck it, I'm making a leap. At least with Lynch, you can kind of like progression. Okay, this makes sense, but it fits it. But this doesn't really fit. It's just like he's just there.
Because then High, when like he pulls the pin on the grenade, he's like, "I'm sorry," and it seems very genuine. Like he's like, "I really didn't want to do this."
Yeah. And
so I think that maybe that is him like killing off that part of himself that is that criminal aspect.
We don't know enough about him. If anything, if it's a little bit more about Leonard, you know what I mean? Just him like just expressing an opinion or something or. Sort of empathy, or you reacting to something in a way that would, show us, you know what I mean, like sympathize with the baby, you know what I mean, like, something that I don't know, something a little more about him that it would tinge, even though his experience would give him more insight to who he was, maybe so too, like It
is. I mean, again, this is total like speculation, but I'm gonna go with him killing off the biker was his way of shutting off his criminal past. Because he enjoys it, but it's like it has to go if he's going to pursue a family, being in love with his wife.
Well, I can see that, yeah.
He's got to cut it off, and that's why he feels so sorry. Again, that kind of fits in with the Woodpecker tattoo. It's like, if this was the full criminal,
that's true. They wouldn't show that if it wasn't like showing that this is him. He's like killing his old self.
Yeah, like this is where he could have been if he went full criminal, full like sociopath and didn't care. Because before at the beginning he's knocking over convenience stores with unloaded guns.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing too. That's the only problem with the Leonard is the fact that he was a bit like malicious in his thing. He was almost like because at least the other guy's like reckless. You know what I mean? Like the Nicolas Cage character is HI is reckless.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the guy from Apocalypse is a bit more malicious, like shooting bunnies and shit. Like that was a bit.
Yeah, he's just killing small things.
Yeah, and it's one thing if he was like showing him more reckless, like he's in traffic, he's cutting people off. You know what I mean, or something like that, or he comes in from the phone. You know what I mean, like just driving stupid fast and you know what I mean, more apathetic.
Yeah, because
he get off and killing like bunnies and shit.
Because that's the first night I think that dream was the first night they stole a kid.
I think so, yeah. Around that.
Or if not, it was really close. Because in that dream, he even says, he's like, sometimes it's tough out there for small things. So maybe, like, right when he steals that kid, there's, like, he's split between leaving behind his criminal past and being that full-on criminal. Kind of like did you watch Jackie Chan Adventures growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, remember the Tiger Talisman, the Yin and Yang?
No.
Okay, so...
I remember the show being cool, though.
So that talisman, whenever they use it, they split the personalities.
Oh, okay.
One's like full evil and like full good. The good's usually kind of like dumb and stupid, and the evil's always like criminally insane. So I guess maybe like that's what that kind of is. Like it's kind of the split, like yin and yang of like him trying to be like a good dad and like a father, like a family person. Like he's wearing like loafers. He's got like this polo shirt tucked in, and he's like, there's even one part where he's like holding his loafer and he's kind of like wringing it out because he's like stressed out.
Oh yeah.
And because then we have the biker who's full criminal, like, you know, selling babies, and like he's got the Woody Woodpecker tattoo like he does, but he's like, you know,
he's so reckless,
killing small animals.
That's what threw me off. The killing the animals thing was kind of, I mean, it was comically fucked up, but it was kind of like him just like getting relentlessly, like, who like drives and shoots like a bunny. Though. It was like,
well, that's it. He's like killing off small things. They get so out there for small things.
Yeah,
but this coincides with him and the baby. So he's kind of torn between like wanting to have a family and also not wanting this baby around.
Yeah, and
kind of having this dream of killing small animals. Which kind of could be related to, like, you know, babies.
That's true, because at the same time with the guy from the thing, he was his only goal was getting the fucking kid. He wasn't out to like fuck anybody up, really.
Yeah, like, and that's what High's character was.
Other than like rabbits and like lizards and shit. He wasn't trying to like, he wasn't attacking. He wasn't getting off for like attacking people. You know what I mean? He was just like, I'm here for like the kid, and I'm gonna pay you for it.
He's the tracker. He's there for the job.
And I'm like here to like, yeah, no one sent me, but I don't want to get paid too.
I think I'm just judging by like where he says I'm sorry, and it's like very apologetic, and that felt more like an apology to himself about not being a criminal anymore and not having fun with that.
That's true, because then the placement, I don't know, I'm reading into it too, because if I did the same tattoo in the same placement too, it feels like, remember they have a tattoo in a different place, possibly like some sort of like league, but I mean like, you know what I mean, the same placement, I don't know, you definitely give you the sort of motif of them being a foil to him.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with that theory.
Yeah, I go with it.
I'm sure there's some interview out there that explains it all. And we get the biker explodes in the most fucking unbelievable theatrical way, and I love it. Like it's like he had fucking dynamite stashed in his pants. And he did have a few grenades on his bandolier, but
you know,
that was great.
We're children of like the Live League era, and we don't have grenades. Don't do that. As someone has watched plenty of Live League, grenades don't do that. They don't.
No.
If it was like if it's like the pre-internet era, I'm like, that's grenades crazy. Like, nah, I watched so many Live Leagues. It's like a bust of smoke. You see dust and smoke, and then just that'll be it.
It's more shrapnel and concussion
than
it is fire. Like that's what.
Shout out to Live League for showing, for educating us on how.
Thanks, Live League, for showing me how fucking terrible the world is and how stupid people are. So, and then this after this, we get the cut of them returning Junior, and they return them book 2, and the book's like all like charred shit,
and like blue.
And Nathan walks in and finds them, and they're like about to leave, and he's like, you feel like you're not telling me enough about their story, and High's like, rewards are usually no questions asked. Like, he says it, not very confidently. And Nathan's like, oh, okay. And they're about to leave, and Ed's like, kind of looking at him one more time. And then Nathan's like watching them look at the baby, and he puts 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
It's not difficult when you see a fucking couple in your bedroom returning a baby.
It's guilt. Even them being there. You wouldn't do it that way. You'd be like fucking the police station or something trying to get the money. Not.
Yeah, and they even said we don't want the reward.
Trying to sneak it in the middle of the night. That's a pure guilt. That's a guilt move.
Yeah. And then even like High and Ed confess to it. And Nathan understands, and it's like, why? And he's like, we can't have one of our own. What are we going to do? And Nathan's like, well, keep trying. Like, something will happen. He's like, look at us. Like, we tried for ages, and then science came along, and we have 5 sons now. Like, it worked out. And then Nathan even goes, like marriage counselor on there. That fixes their marriage.
Yeah.
And then also, like, the ladder.
That did very much feel like an 80 sitcom vibe, too. Like an 80s, 90s sitcom vibe.
Yeah.
Hey, hang in there, buddy. Things will get better.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the more you know, whatever.
And also, did they leave the fucking ladder at that window the entire goddamn time? Because
really?
the ladder's in the same spot. I was like, did no one move the ladder?
Yeah, because in the dream sequence too.
They didn't take the ladder with them, which I would have. I mean, if I'm going to do something criminal, I'm going to take the evidence with me.
Yeah.
So if the kid's just gone, maybe he's still in the house somewhere. Maybe the nanny took him. You put a ladder there, it's like, well, obviously someone fucking came and took him.
Yeah, they're not really good.
But that's just me.
That was weird because they give it back, and I don't know. To me, it was weird because it's very hijinks. Because it's like it could have. Then we kind of left in the spot where it's like they're like I don't know. It's just I don't know.
I mean, they could have gone more comical and like fun with it, but I think having it, they're returning this kid. Like, there's nothing fun or nice about this. They just went through all this shit to get this kid, and now they're going to give him back because it's the right thing to do, and it has to be done. Kind of
but. Yeah.
I mean, there's still some hijinks in a minute, a little bit. And I did like how Nathan's like, you can go out the way you came in. I was like,
yeah.
All right. And he tells them to sleep on it before they split up, and this is where we get the last dream sequence. And he's saying he's like as light as the aether, and then we see like, so his dreams are very much premonitions, right? Like,
so far, yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying about?
Me? No, I was thinking. I don't know about the couple thing. I'm wait till we finish it and I'll keep my opinion on that.
Yeah, all we gotta do is get through the dream.
I just wanted to. Yeah, I'm thinking of the dream, and it kind of reminded me a bit of tying into another movie, Parasite, where it's sort of like the dream, the ending, have something almost like wishful thinking about the future.
Yeah,
and leave it on, even though the president's not happy with maybe the future be right. The future is right.
Yeah, and this same thing with Parasite. Like you don't know if the ending is like if that's just his fantasy or we're seeing a peek into the future and we go back in time.
I took it as a wishful thinking, the optimistic future.
I mean, I do too, but
because they played it off first like it happened, and it pulls back and you're writing about it, and then it just makes you think. He's optimistic about it, and just sort of, and that ties in. That's a whole thing about the movie. I'm saying that's about the whole classism and thinking. Poor people wishing it could be better, but like, good luck, poor people. But
so the cons return to prison, and they go out through the hole they come in, which is great.
They choose to go back. Yeah.
And they send Nathan Jr. gifts at Christmas, which is...
Oh, they did? I didn't catch that. Shit.
Yeah, he said something like, a lovely couple sends Nathan Jr. gifts at Christmas. And you saw him, and because he had a football, and he was like playing with the football.
Oh, yeah. I gotta stop watching movies half asleep. Yeah, I guess I'm... before I go to bed. And
then I love when Glenn gets pulled over. He's like, no one listen to Glenn. One too many Pollock jokes, maybe. And then Sergeant Kowalski.
Yeah. That was great. That was great.
Justice with the... minor.
Yeah, I like Glenn.
Let's see. And Nathan Jr. becomes a star football player, and I like how like they feel proud of him because
that was awesome.
They're like, or at least High's kind of like, hope we influenced him a little bit, or like something we did stuck with him, even if he doesn't remember us. Because they can in this sequence they give him a football and he becomes a football star.
Oh yeah. How the fuck did I catch it? Yeah. It was like I'll put this movie in before I fall asleep.
Also,
it's not even very like deep. It was just like football and football star. Like
I just finished watching this movie at like 9:00, so like 2.5 hours ago I finished watching the film.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did not have a chance to watch it up until just now. So
how the fuck did I catch it?
And then this end bit. No, I got a little choked up at this, and he says, "I had no dream of us." He's like, but then I saw us, like we grew old, and we were visited by our kids and our grandkids, and it's like we can be good too, and it's like it seemed real, and it seemed like us, it seemed like our home but different, and then he's like, maybe it was Utah, and then it cuts, and I was like, that's a great end.
What the fuck is that? What? Maybe Utah?
Well, because they talked about like the home is like it seemed like home, but it seemed different. And he's kind of just like inner monologuing about his dream. He's like because it was obviously their motorhome, and they're old and great, and they got their kids and grandkids there, and they're sitting at this Thanksgiving table that's huge.
Yeah. And
he's kind of just like going on about like what this future is like. And he's saying, like, oh, it's a good future that we can have. And he's like, it was a dream. He's like, but it seemed so real, and it seemed like that was us. And it seemed like it was home, but it wasn't, like, the home right now. And his interpretation of it not being home right now and not, like, in the future, like, you'll get there when you have a family. He's like, instead of that, he's like, maybe it was Utah. Like, it's the most, like, simpleton, like, maybe it's just a different state.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's another garbage state to the left or whatever.
Maybe in their family, you're saying? Just maybe a different. It'll happen in a different place.
Well, that's what he. I just don't think he really interpolated his dream properly. Of like, this is us in the future. He's like, oh, maybe it's a different state. Maybe we had to move from Arizona to Utah.
Oh, he got you. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's Utah. I thought it's like maybe their family. Maybe it's someone else. That was a clever way of saying it. Somebody else. This could happen to somebody else.
No, but I really like that ending. Because I mean. Back watching, I just watched The Irishman last night, which the ending of that is like all of the like Scorsese like.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'll wait till the end too. I don't even want a hint of it. No fan. I'll talk about it when you man.
Okay.
I don't even know the tone of it yet. I'm curious to see how it plays out because I'm kind of when I saw like one little like 30-second trailer. So.
Oh, The Irishman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I won't talk anymore about it, but like,
cause I don't want to. If it ends somber, I'm like, I don't want to anticipate it being somber, so I don't want the tone ending.
Okay. Yeah. So, and this was the point at the end credits when I saw. I was like, oh, this is a fucking Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
And I really need to do a bit more research on these. I did it for the last few.
I can go in blind,
but not this one. I like going in blind sometimes, but yeah. So what did you think about this? Which, actually, I have the perfect rating system. It's a 0 to 3 rating system.
Really?
3 out of 3 is perfect. 2 out of 3 is really good, but it's not perfect. 1 out of 3 is like, it's not great. And 0 out of 3 is, I'm never gonna fucking watch this again.
3 is a 4 number. That's great. That's rough.
I like very obscure rating systems. We can do like out of 7. We want to do out of 7.
5. I'll give it a 5 out of 7.
Yeah, I
did there, but I'll give it a 5 out of 7.
You'd be like, I give this 4 out of 5 corn dogs. Like, what does that fucking mean?
Gosh. I don't know. I guess it's. I don't know. I can only compare this. Really, to other Coen Brothers movies because I'm a fan of them. I'm not saying I hate it because it's like it's like everybody's when people is big and major. I'm a fan. It's like almost like we were. You know what I mean? Like the Tarantino thing. Like, I'm a fan because I like most of his movies. Like you're not a fucking fan. You don't have anything autographed from anybody. Like I don't. Whoa. And yeah, that's when they have that sort of rabid fan base like Coen Brothers do.
I think true fans.
I enjoy most. I've enjoyed most of their film. I should say that because it's like.
I think true fans won't like every piece of film that a filmmaker makes.
But I mean, the fact that if you call yourself, I shouldn't say a fan. I mean, I've seen a couple of their films and I do enjoy them. So I'm comparing to this one. Like, I think it's, I think it's probably one of the lesser ones that I enjoyed from them. I shouldn't say it's not bad at all. I just was like, it's fan. I have such like high like I love this sort of screwball like things that kind of snowball and get worse kind of movies they do.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably like to me like a. Like I kind of compared it to Burn After Reading. To me, it's like almost like a. I think it's probably the second film they did. So I think they're still very green, I should say. Because there's some scenes in this movie that I thought were just fucking like knock it out of the park. I mean, I guess the second sequence before the FBI sequence, the car chase sequence, and some of the other were just fucking amazing. And then some sequences just I don't feel they really land. But they're very green directors at the time.
See, to me, that's more of a fan than anybody that's just like jerking off to every fucking Tarantino or
just don't get
Rodriguez
it.
film.
Too.
Like, I love J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
I grew up on Lost. That show has plenty of problems that are.
I don't like Lost.
No. I mean, I'm not going to get into Lost. That's a whole fucking can of worms.
I love the idea of it. I just hate the fucking,
Same.
like, it's mystery within a mystery within a mystery within a... I'm like, fuck you guys.
The problem was people guessed the purgatory thing way too early, and they tried to work around that, but they'd already worked so much into the purgatory thing that it kind of fell apart at the end. If they had just admitted to it and not been like J.J. Abrams, he's like the mystery box. What's in the mystery box? It's a cool idea.
Oh, the TED, you heard watch the TED Talk too on that too, right?
Yeah. Again, mystery box, really cool idea,
fucking amazing idea,
and like production. But like you can do that with a movie and not have many answers. Like Super 8.
Didn't see it. Don't really care to.
The ending was very like, I was like, all right, this is how it's going to end? Okay, that's fine. But if you have a TV show that people are investing years of their life into, you need to give them answers.
That's why I knew it from the pilot. I watched the pilot and I really like, this shit's fucking great. Like, this show's going to be so fucking good. And then it ended and I'm like, wait a minute. No. I know what you're going to fucking do. You're going to do us dirty. I saw that from the pilot because I was like, this is going to be awesome. Like, no, you're going to keep doing a mystery on a mystery on a mystery on a mystery. At the end, it's just going to be a mystery. I'm like, we're not playing that game anymore. I'm tired of that shit. I'm done. I want to see mystery revolve, solve. Like, I want to see fucking like X-Men. I wanted like another like I'm thinking X-Men on an island. That's what I was thinking. I was expecting it to be like X-Men on an island. We X-Men like X much of mystery, but there's overarching mystery you kind of like you never really know. But you know what I mean? Like within the mysteries they show on the show, it's like solve some shit so we can feel good. Like you know what I mean? You intertangle like we'll at least every episode we'll start a mystery. At least we'll solve some shit. We'll have an overarching mystery. Someone will never like aliens and other human will probably never get to. But it's like overarching feeling of. But that lends itself to imagination. That's mystery tied to imagination, not what Lost does, which is like you know what I mean? Mystery, and all of a sudden like we're just enamored in mystery instead of it doesn't allude to imagination the same way like X-Files it does.
I like getting an answer that leads to more questions.
Yeah,
I like that. Like, I just finished Adventure Time a few weeks ago, and I absolutely love that show. There's plenty of times where like here's an answer, and that's just a whole new fucking can of worms they just opened. Like a whole lot more questions.
I'd say how lost it.
Well, yeah, again, because they tried to keep the whole mystery going. Everyone knew the mystery, but they kept denying it. And you can't keep denying the truth and then be like, you know how we lied and you know how we said that's not what it was? That's what it was. You're going to alienate fans really quickly. But the longer they kept up with that lie, the worse it got. So.
Hey, Mr. Robot. But
yeah.
That's another thing, too. That's all.
Well, I was just saying that, like, there's plenty. I like J.J. Abrams.
Oh, he's fucking
plenty
talented.
Of his films I
Mission
really
Impossible
like.
3? Hey, it's tied into our conversation before we had.
Yeah.
See, everybody upset the 3-hour plan. It'd be like a 6-hour podcast if it was a 3-hour. But I was saying earlier about, like, he's fucking directed. Alias. He was great. He's a great film director. I think.
Yeah.
He's a talented dude. It's just, I don't like that shit. I don't know.
I have a lot of problems with what he's been doing. By the way, I'm looking at his IMDb. Mission Impossible 7, 2021. Mission Impossible 8, 2022.
Yeah, I'm fucking hyped. If they have the same director from Fallout, the guy's fucking great.
Untitled Cloverfield sequel. Stop it. Stop.
You know what they're doing. We'll do it right this time. We'll actually do it.
Okay, so the Paradox
Third time's the charm. Hey, man.
Fourth time's the charm. Hey. Paradox was terrible because they took an already existing script, did a little Control F Cloverfield, and just fucked it up. If that movie would have been great if they had left Cloverfield out of it, would have been a great movie.
That was like Wolfenstein. Was that one movie they did read? Not Wolfenstein, the zombie horror movie. That's supposed to be like a Cloverfield sequel, but it wasn't though.
What?
Remember he produced. J.J. Abrams produced remember the Nazi zombie movie he did? Everyone thought it was gonna be another Cloverfield sequel.
Overlord.
Huh? Yeah, Overlord.
That's on Hulu now. By the way,
that was okay.
I didn't see it.
That was a little
I'll see it eventually.
Disappointing? Not just I shouldn't say. I don't know. Shout out to the director. It was decent. It just wasn't.
Again, like I can really like somebody, but I'm going to be critical of what they do.
Yeah, you have as a fan of them.
Sucking their dick isn't going to make their art any better.
As a fan of them, yeah, because it comes from a place of love, and I do love the Coen. I think this movie. it's like their second movie. It's like their second. Because the first movie obviously is Blood Simple, which I still haven't seen, but I'm still like in my IMDb, which I studied. Weird. I studied that movie, but I haven't like seen it yet. It's like in my fucking queue. But
my queue is fucking insane.
Of like movies, and that one. This is their follow-up film. So I think this is their first film. I think it was like lighter because the first one was a little darker. I like the idea of like having, like something, a bad idea, snowball to a worse idea, keep going worse and worse and worse and worse. Like Fargo, I think they're kind of, but then they sort of I wouldn't say, perfected the idea of like, let's have a simple kidnapping and all like, all this complication, this way. Oh, they're like, holy fuck, like we're way over fucking heads, and it's getting bad to worse. And I love that. I love those kind of screwball bad to worse movies, and I think this didn't quite pull off the way they wanted to. I mean, it's ambitious. It's hard. Second movie. You got a lot going on in this movie.
It's their second movie, and I honestly
believe it's second. At this time of this, I believe. I'm not gonna look it up on Instagram, but I'm gonna guess. Fuck it. Early on in the career, but
what, Coen Brothers?
No, this one. I'm not technically sure. But it's not worth it. It's either second or third movie.
It's your second one.
Okay, nice.
I'm on the IMDb right now.
Nice.
But
what do you think then?
I really liked it. If we're gonna go with my out of 3 rating, I'll probably give it a 2 out of 3.
Nice.
I really liked it. Like, of course, it's not perfect, and it's kind of it's going to end up being a product of its time, which a lot of movies from the 80s end up being. So it's going to have faults, and it's not going to be perfect, but I really liked it. I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I thought it was just going to be like, oh man, this guy got a kid dropped in his lap, and he's got to take care of it, kind of like a 3 men and a baby kind of thing. So I was pleasantly surprised. Who do you think anybody stole the show? I think everyone was, like, top of their game.
Their characters were. It's just, the problem is, again, like, Burn After Reading, Fargo, about this movie, I'm going to keep complaining again, is, like, they haven't tightened the screws of the screwball comedy. Screwball has, like, certain parameters, you can let people go wild, but there's sort of, like, it's almost, like, a cohesiveness to it, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? At the same time, it's, like, this is ridiculous, it's wilder and wilder and wilder, but there's sort of, you know what I mean? And this one is, like, they're wild to be for the sake of being wild. So this one, let me think of a character. I don't know. There's, like, no one I could really think that I really liked. I mean, I liked a lot of them. A lot of them were fucking...
I liked a lot of them.
The characters were great. And I mean, I can't knock any... I can't think of who stuck out particularly. I can't think of...
I don't think anybody really, they really stuck out. Like...
In a way, I kind of I think it might be Arizona. Just the fact that he was, like... Maybe because he was screwball, but he was in a way that was sort of angry screwball that I really liked. I think he really stole, like, the FBI scene. The FBI scene, he kind of stole that scene, which for me... Because he was, like, kooky, but at the same time, he was almost, like, serious kooky, like, in the way he did it.
Yeah.
That he had a grit with him, which I really liked. Because the rest of them were so, like, almost, ridiculous caricatures that he was, like, kind of a caricature, but at the same time kind of, like, I don't know, he did it really, I think it was great on that. Of, like, playing that staunch businessman, but it was a bit ridiculous. Without being too over the top. And now it's tough to be like serious, but a little bit ridiculous, but serious at the same
time. I'm looking at the guy that played the biker.
Yeah, he was a boxer. He's fucking great.
The last thing he was in was Walker, Texas Ranger in 2001.
Just living up that boxer money.
Oh man, I wonder if he's dead.
He probably did. He's a boxer.
He's a big dude. A lot of times bigger dudes end up dying early because
he's a pro boxer. I'm saying he's fucking beating people up. Yeah, you know anybody in sports.
You get your head fucking mashed up like that enough.
Yeah,
I couldn't figure out what I recognized him from though. Like I'm sure there's because it's definitely nothing recently. I'm sure it's something from fucking ages ago. But yeah, I don't think anybody stole the show. I think everyone did a great job. And this this is one of Nic Cage's like really early works.
Yeah, 87. Like before, actually right after Moonlight, I believe. I have to guess. Before.
Excuse me.
This is like right after when he started becoming a thing.
Yeah, this is his ninth film.
So it's like right after Moonlight, I believe, right? Isn't this after he did?
Yeah, Moonstruck?
Moonstruck, yeah.
Same year, so...
Oh, really? Cause I remember he became a thing kind of after that. Like, he became, like, It Boy. He was kind of opposite of Cher, and he kind of held himself up, and
yeah, like,
But that was crazy. You're right, I don't think anybody can really stand out for me. So, number one, to me, who do you think... I don't think anybody really won the movie.
No, it's... Again, I don't want to... Like, everyone's on the same level. Like, no one's, like, above anyone else or below. I think everyone's pretty much on the same... What the fuck is happening to my voice right now?
Scratchy.
Sorry. There's a problem when I don't fucking talk all day, and I sit and talk for 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't think anybody did.
I don't think anybody stole the show. I think everyone did a really great job. I mean, there's definitely some shots of Nic Cage that just made me burst out laughing. Just because...
Yeah, it's hard, because especially like Nic Cage, especially in a movie where Nic Cage, it's kind of tough for people, because usually either somebody's like has a scene, they kind of break out, or they have Nic Cage kind of default to him because he fucking goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like, even in this one, no one really overshadowed him.
It's kind of like the same. Like I love Nic Cage going crazy the same way I like seeing Joe Pesci get angry.
Yeah. That's their lane.
That's the Joe Pesci I know and love. It doesn't matter if it's Casino, Goodfellas, or Home Alone.
Fucking Casino. People sleep on that movie so much.
I know.
Like, everyone's like, it's like fucking Goodfellas. It's not Goodfellas. It's different. Goodfellas is about, like, a love affair with a gangster life. Casino is about an American dream. It's different movies.
Mark said watching Irishman and Goodfellas back-to-back was perfect. Because
really?
They're both just opposite sides of the same coin. Like, his Goodfellas is about, like...
it's a love affair with gangster life and, like, the crime
it's
life.
Like,
it's a love story.
Living like a king, all the money. And the other side is, like... the family part of it, it's fucking hard, like, to, like, have a family when you're a fucking mobster. So, but yeah, like, I can't, like, I really like this movie, but there's also, I'm kind of like, I want people to see it, but it's not like, yeah, that's why I say 2 out of 3. It's not perfect. It could have been better, but it's also, again, one of the earlier films, so I can't be like, it's trash. Do you have any final thoughts on it? I can't really think of much else to say.
I'll steal from the show The Washables. Will this show work as a Netflix series, a 10-part series?
God, no.
Really?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think dragging this story out, because...
It lends itself to the pace, you think? The fast pace kind of lends itself.
Maybe a 4 or 5 episode miniseries.
Okay.
Not 10. Because there's at a certain length, they end up needing filler, and then... Okay, so...
I actually love them saying that's something. Go ahead.
I'm going to go on a tangent real quick.
Vastly different opinion. This is interesting.
So there's a show on YouTube called Bravest Warriors, created by Channel Frederator for Cartoon Hangover. It was created by Pendleton Ward, the creator of Adventure Time.
Nice.
The show, each episode was anywhere from like 3 to 10 minutes long. Like, there was no formula for the length of the episodes. It was like, we're going to tell this quick story. And there was anywhere from like 5 to 8 episodes a season for the first 3 seasons. And it was very short and concise. They were telling a story. Sometimes between episodes, the stories didn't connect.
Yeah.
But the overall did over time. So a season was one cohesive thought. But then season 4 got bought out by a Canadian company.
Oh, shit. We're
not going to get into the animation changed terribly. It went from a Korean hand-drawn animation studio to basically using Flash animation.
No, nice. Like South Park?
It's terrible.
Oh, shit.
When you go from hand-drawn and you're used to the way these characters move, act, and the environment, and the drastic change from that, it's like going from like, say like a Disney TV show from like the 90s that's animated to fucking Happy Tree Friends. It just didn't work. And then season 4, again, seasons 1, 2, and 3, there was anywhere between 5 to 10 episodes a season.
Oh, really?
And season 4 had 52 episodes.
Oh, shit.
All 11 minutes long.
Oh, shit.
It became super formulaic. There are some episodes, no story happens. This is gonna be a signed episode for this character. Sure, it's got some good chuckles in it, but it just completely ruined the flow of the story. Oh, shit. That's why I used to love like TV shows like, it's a 26 episode season. Now I'm like, it's a fucking 5 episode Chernobyl season or fucking nothing.
The Office?
Sometimes I love The Office, but sometimes that shit just drags.
The episodes or the seasons? The
seasons. Like, there's episodes where just nothing happens. I'm not saying there needs to be character development, but there's just some episodes where, like, I feel like nothing happened.
Scott's thoughts, bro.
Yeah, also, I have that thing where, like, I get super embarrassed for characters where the point where I can't watch it.
Yeah, I skip episodes. I'll skip them, too.
I end up skipping whole episodes.
I love this episode, but halfway through and skip. I have to, but I'm good, because it's too hard to watch.
I think, again, I think maybe a 5 episode miniseries.
I would definitely watch that, so I finally agree.
Yeah.
I would definitely think this would lend itself to, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Like, a literal, maybe a miniseries would be good. It'd be cool to see that break out, like, like, unpack some of it and let it, the time to develop some of the characters more. And
I fall in love with the idea of miniseries, and I really wish shows would keep doing that.
That was, like, a big thing back in, the idea was, like, big, like, maybe, like, by the time Breaking Bad came out, it was like they're talking about that. I remember, like, a lot of people were talking about, we should just, like, like, let's have a finite... kind of show. And I think that's when Netflix came out with House of Cards. Because House of Cards was supposed to be originally 26 episodes, and obviously it's going on like way too far. But I mean, it was like... Yeah. But a lot of things that Netflix is doing, like, 13 Reasons Why and a bunch of their shows, was like a whole idea of let's only do a finite amount of episodes. You know what I mean? We could do 5, to 15 or even 20 episodes, and that'll be it. It's a whole one contained story, and that's what... That's
what I want. I want, like, a long format movie.
Yeah,
that's what I want in a.
That's what I thought Irishman kind of was. Loki kind of was. It's like 3.5. I thought they were gonna break it up into like 2 or 3 parts.
It definitely could have been a 5 episode miniseries.
Because I feel like it would have. They needed a point. And they could have make it like one. Everyone's goes 3 out. I'm like, no, that's perfect. They could just like break, almost like they did with the movie they did with Tarantino. They broke it up into 3 parts and called it. Because when I saw that movie, too, on a side note, when I saw Hateful Eight, I saw the intermission. There was actually an intermission.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw because I had to see the artist way because what I mean. One of my favorite directors putting out a movie. I had to see. It was like they had a film print version of it at Disney Springs, so I had to I'm being a nerd. I have to see. I'll pay the price. So I went and I saw it. And literally in the middle of it was an intermission. Yeah, so they literally the screen comes up, everybody breaks, and everybody goes and eats because it's an extended version of it too. So that was kind of cool. But I think it would lend itself to seeing more in time with like the guy. You know what I mean? It was just I think that'd be cool. A Netflix series. Okay, who casting? What is? That's what they usually do too. I don't know. Any half is in research. They usually do. I don't research that part. So who? I don't think it would work here. So this one, who do you think could replace Nicolas Cage in this movie? Who do you think a good fit?
If we're just gonna go with like a modern day, like
just anybody,
I'm gonna pick any actor from any era.
Sure.
God, I mean,
or fuck it, if it was remade today,
seeing Owen Wilson in that position would be fucking hilarious, but it definitely would not be as good. Like, nothing against him, but it would just be a completely different vibe.
That's a name I haven't heard in a minute.
Owen Wilson?
Oh, yes.
Well, he's been kind of out of the limelight after he tried to kill himself. So
again? It's like 34 times, all right? He's doing a lot.
It was a while ago, but I think he did like 1 or 2 movies since then, but he really hasn't.
Like, he tried to kill himself, and he's like came back, and he was like a person, the kid again. That sucks.
I don't know. I don't know who could replace him.
Shia LaBeouf. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
That would be fucking awesome.
Have you seen his interview on Hot Ones?
No, not yet. No,
you gotta watch that. It's good. He definitely could. Because you definitely need some actors that are a bit more...
He's a bit unhinged because he has a tenderness to him. You know, what's the two about him? There's a genuine tenderness when he acts, which I like.
Yeah, there is. Which I
think he's like reckless.
I wish he did more stuff.
He's got like back-to-back movies out now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Peanut Butter Falcon and the Honey Boy coming out soon.
Yeah, which is, again, like, he hasn't done anything in a while. He did Fury a couple years ago.
He did more, so he's been doing so. He did, before he did that, he did another movie, but he's actually, he's just a progression where it's like, the problem isn't he's not doing enough work, it's just, it's hard to, like, promote him. Mm-hmm. I mean, as, you know, this is an indie nerd, he's working, but he's doing a good movie, but it's like, now I think with, like, Peter, because he did Butter Pecan Falcon, like, the promo one, he's on Today Show, like, oh shit, like, doing the Today Show, you know, hopefully he can, like, you know, work the demons out so he can, like, be a good, like, media, you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
So when we come on talk shows and keep his shit together and then, you know, go on, oh, I'm here to promote my movie, not necessarily, like, you know what I mean? Like, within the perimeter. You can still be your self and be fun, but don't, you know what I mean? Don't start flipping the fuck out and hurting people. Like, keep it, you know, I don't think he's doing that, but you know what I mean? Like, hopefully he can stay hinged enough to keep doing that. And he's doing Honey Boy promotion, so he's been pretty, you know, like, hinged on that, so. He's just he's a great actor. I think he could be one of the great generation ones. It's unfortunate he just can't. He's got his demons.
Child actors always have problems.
He's got his demons.
I mean, we've seen the kind of predators that are in Hollywood.
Pretty much everybody but, like, Britney Spears and Timberlake are, like, the only exceptions. The only ones who didn't go fucking...
Britney Spears has her own problems.
Actually, no, you're right. No, you're right. She did. I'm thinking... But no, you're right. It was... Timberlake was the only one. I think Timberlake's one of the few of, like... Timberlake and maybe, like, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
he got out scot-free because his mom kept him from, like, going to parties and stuff.
DiCaprio was a weird exception, too. Because he was a kid actor. He didn't really have a following. I mean, he likes young girls. I mean, like, of age. Legally young girls. But he doesn't fuck with, like... There's no weird state of him.
Yeah.
So cool. So what was the last one I have? Who in the movie? Yeah, we already said that already. That was that. Yeah, I'll remember later.
I guess, I mean...
The one that they knew scene, the Mark Ruffalo, but nobody really sold it. Nobody had an over the top. Everybody was kind of overacting, so it worked out well. Huh? On the Mark Ruffalo, who they knew scene, who gets the overacting award.
Oh,
there's that one. There's nobody really. Everyone was so, like, overacting on top of each other, so it was like it worked well.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I can't really say, like, oh, someone didn't do a good job acting. Like, even, like, the kids just being, like, shitty when Glenn's kids are just being shitty.
Yeah.
Even that, like, it didn't seem, like, too crazy. Like, even, like, they're sitting at a table and the kid just, like, sticks her hand in the Jell-O and throws it at Nic Cage's head. Like. It's like
great.
The kid, none of the kids spiked the camera. They were all just doing their own thing. It all worked out. So again, not perfect, but it went better than most movies when they have to deal with kids and, like, actors from the 80s that, you know, some of these actors probably weren't too great at the time. So.
Tough being a kid. Apex Mountain. Anybody's top of the game performance? Like, anybody at the height of their career in this movie?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe the guy that played Nathan Arizona, because he died a few years later.
Oh, shit.
He died, like, I think he died, like, 89.
Damn. Yeah, I haven't seen anything else before. He was good in this. So for me, I guess it would be. Holly Hunter, of course, not because she won an Oscar for piano. And
he died in his, like, his 40s.
Goodman was, you know, John Goodman was doing his thing. I mean, it's definitely not like Nicolas Cage.
Pretty screechy at some parts, but that was the character. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so Trey Wilson, the one that played Nathan Arizona, died at the age of 41.
Jeez, how young.
Ooh. Let's see. Succumbed to a cerebral hemorrhage only days from his 41st birthday.
Shit.
Wow. That sucks.
Can't predict those.
Oh, man, he was in Twins.
Nice.
So... Oh, yeah, as always, if we miss anything or you guys have your own comments you'd like to tell us, you can reach us at Nic Cage Podcast at gmail.com. Actually, no, I checked this morning. We didn't have any emails.
Oh, nice.
Between our two videos, we have a full 30 views.
Nice, dude. I'll take it, though.
None of which were any of my friends.
Really? Yeah, I don't think my friend. I think I did. I don't think Nic Cage fans. But also too, it's a weird. That's hard. It's a tough one, but it's good. I mean, it's another movie. I want to say, this movie. Before I forget, do you think it's a big metaphor between, like, this parenthood and childhood, and that too? You think the directors are getting a place where they're just like almost like a childbearing thing, where they don't want to have kids, and this movie's a young man's way of looking at, like, having a kid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the time, directors, like, they make a film, and this is them working through a certain thing,
shining alcohol. This is like the idea of having a kid.
Well, it's just maybe them at the time. I mean, this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, they're like in their 60s now.
Yeah, so they already have kids. So maybe at the time, like, this is their thought process of what it's like to have a kid. Because I can tell you right now, me 10 years ago, the idea of having a kid was way different than it is now.
Pretty consistent for me.
Huh?
Pretty consistent for me.
Oh, really?
No kids. A hard pass.
Nic Cage Podcast at gmail.com if you guys want to reach us. I did do the randomizer, and it picked up the next film, and it's not good.
It's not good?
Take a wild guess at what it is.
Is it that Uwe Boll movie?
No.
The Wicker Man?
Worse.
Hey, Wicker, you don't have to watch it. Oh, man.
It's G-Force.
The fuck is that? Oh, the rabbit and the hamsters?
The hamster, the guinea pig.
Oh, my gosh.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, my gosh.
Next week's going to be a quick episode.
G-Force? Oh, my gosh. Is it that bad?
No, I haven't seen it since it came out. I might have seen it in theaters. Let's see. G-Force. If it ends up being a cameo,
is it even top billing?
Let's. I mean, if Nic Cage is in your shitty guinea pig movie, you're gonna fucking put him on the top of the list no matter what. So, he does not look like he is up there on that list.
No, that's not the general rule. If he's not top billing, then we gotta spin the wheel again.
Maybe we'll bring it up
in our other episode of the condensed episode.
Yeah,
the shorts.
I think it might have just been a cameo because here, like, he's like pretty far down, and it just says Speckles and in parentheses voice. So let me pull up the old number generator again. Let's do 1 through 100 because a lot of the most recent ones have not been. Oh, and it picked 100. Let's see what number 100. Oh, please be Mandy. Please be Mandy. Love and Tasha? He's a narrator. It's a documentary. Ugh.
Does it count? I thought it counted as like prominent roles, right? He's a big leading roles.
Let's see.
The Croods.
I actually don't see it. It's not on his IMDb. Where the hell did I get that from? All right, let's
spin the wheel again.
Let's try it again. If not, we're just gonna 32. 32 is Welcome to Hollywood. Plays himself as a cameo.
That was the one we said before, right? Where it's like, yeah.
All right, let's
spin the wheel again.
52. Be better. Come on, be better. National Treasure, Book of Secrets.
Oh, yeah. Shit, the sequel? Nice.
All right. It only took 5 tries. So, next week, are we gonna keep doing this weekly, or are we going to go to bi-weekly?
You can do weekly, yeah.
All right, well, so...
Technically, it's been bi-weekly now, but yeah, because of the thing. So, we'll try to go weekly.
Yeah, so, next week, we are going to do National Treasures 2, The Book of Secrets.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's good.
Is it on Netflix? I hope it is.
We're going to kidnap the President of the United States.
The thing is, I know they want to do a second one, but how can they top that?
I don't think it's a problem. After looking in, I think because Disney has a problem of being clogged the fuck up with so much content. I think that's why they kind of started the streaming service. Because, like, dude, we can only release so many movies at a time. Yeah. We own so much of Hollywood. So it was like they had before the Marvel days, it was easier. When I had Marvel, Star Wars, they have a movie coming out almost every month. So it's like...
Well, Book of Secrets is actually on Disney Plus, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
You shitting me? It's our first plug. It's probably the first Disney plug. Yeah, official plug. Not plug for them, but holler at us Disney Plus if you want to. For probably the one movie so far that we'll probably ever have on your streaming. I mean, we'll probably talk about.
I've been watching The Mandalorian on there, and I've been all about that.
It's good.
I love it.
Okay.
I love Star Wars. I can't out of all the Star Wars movies that have been in theaters that I've seen. Actually, any of them. I've liked Rogue One the best.
That's the best one. See, that's what I was thinking. I'm glad it's becoming more and more almost... Damn it, I wanted to say almost like... It's flirting with almost unanimous best Star Wars movies of all time. It's fucking amazing. Like Rogue One.
As much as I love the Skywalkers and the Skywalker story, I'm kind of fucking sick of Skywalkers and their Jedi bullshit.
Yeah, me too.
That's why the Mandalorian, he's a bounty hunter.
It's like Star Wars meets Game of Thrones. It's like that's what I like about Rogue One and Mandalorian. It's like all that other shit. It's other shit besides like the sword fighting and shit.
Star Wars is such an awesome, expansive universe. It's so cool. And then we just stick with the same fucking family.
Yeah,
we're on the third generation of Skywalkers in the Star Wars universe,
which is cool. The sword fight. I mean, it's swashbuckling,
it's really cool.
Lasers and shit,
laser swords and shit. That's dope. But there's so much more that can be done.
Yeah,
and the Mandalorian is doing a pretty good job because the Mandalorian, it's not Boba Fett or Jango Fett.
Yeah,
he's just a Mandalorian, and just kind of the shit he's doing right now, and it's really cool. The last episode, the last episode I saw, his ship got fucked up by Jawas. They like stripped his ship, and the whole thing is like he sees that, and then he just starts picking them off with a rifle, like an anti-material rifle.
Oh shit!
So he shoots them, and they just turn to ash.
Oh,
and they're freaking out, and he's just shooting. And you've seen the baby Yoda, right?
Yeah.
The little baby Yoda's just like watching, and he's just picking them off, and then they start running away, and he's like chasing them down. It's fucking great.
Baby Yoda. Is it his pet? Is it his pet, or he's watching it?
It's
Star Wars. So that's cool. I like this.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Spoilers.
Oh wait, no, don't tell me. No, I'm
no?
watching it. No, I'll watch it. I am. There's like 20 million. There's like too many good shows that came out. I'm like watching. Yeah, I'm watching. Yeah, there's just watching this Nicolas Cage is taking my whole quota of like movie. I have maybe 3 hour max of like content I consume like a week. So it's like it takes up 2 hours, and then whatever left is like me falling asleep the night, like the Office. So I'm behind on all the pop stuff.
All right, so for the wrap up. What is a movie recommendation? Something that you either recently saw or just something you saw ages ago?
Oh, in theater. I went to the movie theater. It's one of those. It's fun. I saw 2 movies. I guess Parasite. The last time I haven't seen. I saw Parasite. But a lot of people have recommended it, so I'm not gonna go off on that. I think
so good.
It's getting enough love right now. But I saw Queen and Slim. I don't know if you want to see something about black people. It'll be something different. It's an artsy black movie, which I thought was really interesting. I would recommend people to see that. It's cool. It shows a lot of blackness in a way that's not necessarily which we like to. It's like what I like to as a director of some. Full disclosure, I'm black too, but also seeing diverse types of movies that aren't necessarily white movies. It doesn't have to be necessarily black movies. It could be anything, Indian, even queer movies or just transgender, but I don't know whether it's really from that scope and art, sort of an interesting artsy perspective on that, and gives you a sort of range that you don't really see, which I thought was really refreshing. The fact that it was like a studio movie, which I thought was a major studio movie, it wasn't an indie movie at all. It was like it wasn't an indie like let's get a few and grow to like animate. It was like a straight on like full like release from Universal. So. If you want to see some black stuff and like, different and fun, I would recommend it.
I've got something similar, probably not as deep on the racial commentary, but I saw 21 Bridges, which I'm going to recommend.
Oh yeah, 2 black movies. Oh shit, okay.
Yeah,
it's a very progressive podcast.
it was. I was just going to go see it with my family. I was thinking, it'll just be an action movie with like shut down all the bridges on Manhattan.
Yeah,
but actually, there was actually like a lot of commentary and of just like the police versus like the public, and then like the police like in and of itself when like something happens, like when a cop dies, these cops are like they're out for fucking blood because it's very, especially in a big city like New York, it's very tribal. Like the police force versus everyone else, and you got like the firefighters doing their own thing. That the police force is very much like a tribe. It's like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So when one of them goes down, they're like, at least in the movie, it's very much them out for blood.
Oh, so it's like in this movie then, Queen and Slim. That's what
very
the premise.
well.
You heard the premise of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The murder cop and accident.
Actually, it is very similar. This one, it's a black guy and a white guy, and they end up knocking over the wrong like coke dealer. Like it was only supposed to be like 30 kilos of coke there, and they get there and there's 300, and they're like, fuck.
Score.
Yeah, and they end up killing some cops as they're getting out, just, wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And so, like, they shut down the whole city, like, and they're on a manhunt for them. But it's very similar with, like, these 2 guys, and even, like, they're trying to, get this money, like, selling the coke to get money, and then it's like, this is all 20s, like, this is, like, it's like this weighs just as much as the coke did. Why don't you give us any hundreds?
Yeah.
And the drug dealer who bought it is a black guy, and he's like, brown people spend Benjamins, brown people get followed. And I was like, do you know what? That's a good point. As a drug dealer, it's weird that you're looking out for these guys, but cool. There's a lot of stuff like that in the movie, and I actually really enjoyed it, because for the most part, action movies really don't have any commentary other than blowing shit up. You know what I mean?
What's a recent franchise? No, yeah. Fast and Furious does a really good job of being like apolitical.
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of movies try to do. Yeah. They try to, especially action movies that are comedies, like they want to be apolitical. They don't want to step on anybody's toes because they're just there to make money. So that's why I thought it was kind of nice where they're like, they brought this up, and it's like, oh, this is actually happening. I actually appreciate this actual topical reference.
Yeah, that's good though.
I hope in the future it's not as topical. I hope when I watch it like 20 years, I'm like, it's the same shit still.
I think it won't be. I mean, there's a lot of like interesting things happening. I don't know. I'm always optimistic because like the fact that Netflix. Yeah. I think like for example, like I'm optimistic for the future is the fact that there's like the quote unquote streaming awards, which are not really awards, but it's more like just streaming rat race. We're all gonna like anybody has major stream is gonna win, but they're gonna keep like putting out like double up on the content they're gonna put out, so keeping it. So it's gonna create so much more space again for just people to like create like feature films and narratives and that will be more diverse because like Netflix said they're going to get riskier and riskier because I guess Disney's playing it safe because they're Disney. Disney's going to do Disney shit, whatever's is great. They've been doing it for 100 years. They're not going to keep talking. But Netflix is like, we're going to get real risky. That's what they put about. I'm going to get riskier and do crazier and crazy. I mean, maybe more diverse type films. Not necessarily getting not black and white, like black people or whatever, but just like more crazier stuff. Like we're going to have an action movie that has this in it. We're going to have give Scorsese $100 million. We're going to give all people. Yeah. We're going to go fucking go nuts, whatever. So I'm excited to see what kind of shit they're going to put out doing that kind of put away. Like we're having the. I mean, so. It's going to be, the future is bright for filmmaking because there's just so much money out there.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's just more representation.
Yeah, yeah. You don't need to see everybody. Yeah, it's cool to see that. Like,
yeah, I mean, even like with Star Wars, like the last like major Star Wars episode had an Asian actress in it. I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
Yeah, and she wasn't the stereotypical, like, you know what I mean, like. I don't want to say like slim, like sort of conventional.
Yeah,
they put in the movie, but then it was that, and it was like the Finn being black and having that sort of romance they had, and you know that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then even in Rogue One we had Donnie Yen.
Oh yeah.
Which at the time, like I just totally it did not connect with me. That's
dude.
Who that was.
Yeah. I didn't see him as movie, but I know he's an international star. And I'm like, the fuck, that's that guy. Yeah, like that was crazy.
Well, because I remember like I was watching Ip Man. And I was like, of course that's fucking Donnie Yen. How did I not put that together?
That's fucking crazy.
I think we're just under the 2.5 hour mark, I think.
Oh yeah, we're getting tighter. Getting a little tighter.
All right, we'll keep it going. So thanks for joining us. Next week, like we said, we're gonna watch the only other National Treasure movie.
Fuck yeah! For now, who knows? Well, this recording, by the time it gets out, me and my editing will be a while. It might be announced for number 3.
Woo!
I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not even said. Only because if like, the only way it could happen if like Star Wars starts slowing down. I mean, like Marvel starts like they start losing money. Like let's bring up the other stuff.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be a straight to Disney
streaming.
Plus.
Oh, our Netflix buys are right. Shout out to I'm putting pressure on you and Reed Hastings. Do it. Do it right. Do the right thing. That's cool.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and sorry.